and 2 in the NFC West. A tight race here coming up at noon. But we are going to start with the Mariners. And just listen. Just don't go anywhere. Just listen. Just listen. Listen to me. I think that sometimes, Bump, it helps to feel like you're in control of something. Dan Wilson's decision is what we've focused on for a couple days now. Not only can it clearly not be undone, but it's something that you feel like you don't have control over. It was one person's decision that cost you, and we're going to spend the rest of time, just like anyone would with any infamous managerial decision, debating whether or not it was the right call. What can be fixed are some other things that cost them in the playoffs. So for the next 15, let's take a step back, okay? Put the Dan Wilson decision aside. You were not you were not the Mariners, a perfect team that lost only because your manager made that decision, though both you and I have talked about for a couple days now already how we feel. There are some other things at play. So what else cost the Mariners in the playoffs, and how can it be fixed? Let's feel like you've got a little bit of control here. You can join this conversation on the text line 866-979-3776. Bump, it is very, very hard not to start with the arms.
Yeah, that's the first place I went with this whole thing. You didn't get the production that you wanted. Your best arm in the playoffs was Bryce Miller. It wasn't Logan. It wasn't Castillo. Kirby wasn't bad the last time we saw him.
No.
Don't get it twisted. Would have left him out there a little longer, but I'm not Dan. No, it was Miller. And going into this playoffs, you're hoping, okay, well, Woo's banged up. His pec is all jacked up. We got to wait for him. Like, imagine if he were available and he was in that mix. We feel a lot better. Your best arm wasn't available. So you go the furthest. All postseason. You go furthest you've been in 24 years in the playoffs. And the key piece that you felt was going to get you over the hump wasn't performing at the way that we're used to, and your best piece to that piece wasn't available. You have to start with the arms, unfortunately, and we can go some other places too.
Yeah. Let's stay with pitching for just a little while longer. From friend of the show, Brandon Gustafson. Bryce Miller was tabbed to pitch Game 1 of the ALCS due to George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, and Luis Castillo pitching in the 15th inning gauntlet that was Game 5 of the ALDS. Mentions that he was, of course, fantastic. The Mariners won both of Miller's starts. Seattle lost 4 of the other 5 games. The Mariners' starting rotation, not counting Woo's 2 relief appearances, had a 6.59 ERA. If you take out Miller's 2 starts, it was 9.35. Go ahead and add to the bingo card of postseason things I didn't see coming, in addition to, Brian Woo not being able to start a single game, Miller being your best starter. Because think about it this way. If Brian Woo left that game against the Astros perfectly fine and then was your, Game 1 starter and then, was able to make a couple starts, it would have been Miller who ended up being your best postseason arm pitching out of the bullpen. And you would have had a rotation of Woo, Logan, Kirby, Castillo, with Miller as being kind of that extra guy that you have coming out in a role that you had for Woo. Instead, Miller ends up saving the day in his starts. Absolutely being your best arm, and it's not close. In one sense, that's great. It's fantastic to have those performances for Bryce. He should be proud of himself. On the other hand, there's a moment here, an opportunity here to look and go, man, like, do you need to add a pitcher? Do you need to, add depth there? It's not necessarily a bullpen thing. These are the starters we're talking about.
Yeah, and that 15-inning game kind of messed up the approach a bit, right? So if we're going back to that 15-inning game, and we talk about all the arms that were used, I'm going to go back to the bat and say, okay, in that game, you were 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. You could have put that thing away earlier and saved the arm so we're not in this situation and the rotation is going as planned. So it's all going to be connected for sure. I also think that the injuries that the Mariners dealt with helped contribute to this as well, because there's a rhythm, right, that you get into. I know Kirby had a bunch of starts before or after his injury. I get that. Brash came back from a UCL. We didn't see Santos at all. His knee, how would he have helped that bullpen? And it's crazy I'm going to say this name because at times he frustrated the heck out of me. But Thornton, like, how does Thornton factor into this thing if he's healthy? You go back and you start looking at all the things that happen throughout the season. You're not the only team that deals with these injuries, but at the end of the day, that's what a season is. It's a series of events that a team either overcomes or submits to, and you get to a certain part in the playoffs and you roll with who you got and how healthy they are. Again, we focus on Wu and him now. What about Robles? Like, what if Robles didn't get hurt the first week of the season and he got into a rhythm because he gets into the playoffs and he was a non-factor. Robles gets up to the plate and I'm like, all right, well, here comes an out. Canzone gets up to the plate late. I go, all right, well, here goes an out. So we start with the pitching, but then I want to shift over to just the bats.
Let's go ahead and do it.
All right, so I'm looking at the bats, and Gino's numbers are skewed a bit, all right, because his OPS at 956, 7 RBIs, 2 home runs. My note next to it, 1 game juice. 1 game juice. He had a game where he showed up, a pivotal game, clutch moment, right? But we were expecting him to at least contribute a bit more throughout the season or throughout the playoffs. Julio had himself a series and played well during the playoffs. OPS in over 1,000, 6 ribbies, 3 home runs. Cal, Naylor did their thing. Randy was one of the more disappointing ones, too, because we keep hearing about playoff Randy, Randy. 653 OPS. He did have a 333 on-base percentage and 4 stolen bases. When he got on, he did try to make some magic happen. He was that guy on a varsity football team on a Friday that said, look, I'm going to play special teams, but I'm going to knock some fools out when I play special teams. Not going to contribute a lot, but I'm going to help out. And then I have another category. I shouldn't have labeled them this, but I put like the nothings, right?
Ooh.
Got absolutely nothing from these guys.
No.
Rivas, Robles, Canzone, and JP is like looking outside, looking in at the nothings. I should be there, but I'm not going to put him there because JP defensively had some plays, especially in that last game, that were great. I mean, that double play, I mean, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
So, and JP has a bit more of my respect. It's all connected. And then you throw in the decision-making by Dan, right? Dan has to put these guys in position to make these plays. It starts with the arms, though. That was the strongest part of your team. You didn't know you were going to get 60 from Cal. You didn't know what you're going to get from Julio. He always starts off the season slow, ends with a bang.
Yep.
Gino, 1 game juice. There's a lot of angles we can go here.
Yeah, someone said the pitching performance shouldn't be a surprise to baseball knowledgeable people. Yeah, the pitching wasn't as good this year. No one's saying like, wow, what happened? What we're saying is it was a factor. You're going into the postseason before the ALDS started, we were talking about our biggest concerns. We were not overly concerned about the offense. I mean, we were concerned about facing Tarek Skubal and what that might look like for the offense, but the offense had been solid. You had been the hottest offense outside of Philly in September, second highest OPS in September. It was your deepest lineup in so long. We were wondering, are the arms going to be their best version of themselves? And what about your middle relievers? And what about your bullpen? And then in the ALDS, your arms saved you. Your starters, every single one of your starters did their job. Your bullpen did its job. You had 1 bullpen breakdown in Game 4 against the Tigers. That was it. Other than that, you were solid. And then it flipped. So that's why we're having the conversation about the arms, because in the ALCS, it was the opposite story.
Right.
Outside of Miller, none of your starters got deep into games. And I am excluding, obviously, you mentioned Kirby being pulled. He did do his job in Game 7. But your starters didn't go deep into games. Your bullpen was solid, but by then, I mean, this quote from Eno Saris, the Mariners relievers match up 3 times with a single hitter 25 times in the playoffs. The Blue Jays, who talk about mixing up looks, only had 10. So just bullpen usage was also a factor in this one, in addition to the just bullpen appearances, right? Bizzardo pitching, throwing 20 pitches in Game 6 before coming in that moment in Game 7. So pitching did become a big story. I think when we talk about fixes, as we get into the final 5 minutes here, when we talk about fixes, I do think it's hard not to look at money. When you mentioned those, and you said it kind of tongue-in-cheek and a little regrettably, the nothings, that is a fair way to look at it, because the bottom of the lineup did not contribute at all the way that the Blue Jays did. At all. And part of that is that you just don't have the spending that the Blue Jays did. They're, I want to say, a top 5-6 payroll in baseball. And part of it also has to be players contributing and players executing. That's part of it. That is a factor. It's not like just because you spend, those guys are going to show up. The bats for the Blue Jays showed up, and your bottom of the order did not. But I think that throughout the season, and I said this yesterday, this team should constantly be looking at itself. If you are in the front office, if you are a Mariners decision maker, you should at all times be looking 1 through 9 at this lineup and saying, if I had 1 out to go in Game 7 of a World Series and this bat was up, do I think he can do something? And if the answer sincerely is no, then he shouldn't be there. And that's where spending does come into it. Ryan Divish, on with us yesterday, said these areas of concern that Bump and I have been talking about are very obvious, and there is a solution.
Yeah, all the pieces are in place for them to get back. And a lot of people are saying this is only a beginning. It's only, that's all well and good that this is the beginning. But it's only the beginning if you continue to invest and build in your team and supplement your team. You have to, it was clear you needed another leverage arm in the bullpen. And you need other players. I mean, the 7, 8, 9 players that they had this year were not getting the results in the postseason that were needed. And I think you look at that and you say, okay, can we upgrade there? How do we upgrade there? And money shouldn't be an excuse, considering they went over their attendance totals from last year thanks to that final week of the season, and they're playing into the postseason and get a share of the postseason money.
Money should not be an issue if you want this to actually be the start of something. If you want your identity to be pitching and you don't have a lot of faith in your pitching, then go out and get a high leverage arm in winter, make a trade, do whatever you need to do, add another starter if you decide to move on from one that is competitive, that is not just supplementing something. And if you look at the bottom of your lineup, be very serious about who you want in those moments. You should at all times construct this lineup like you are playing in a Game 7.
Yeah, that should be the approach. And there's reason for people to not have faith that that's going to be the approach. I said it yesterday. If they aren't aggressive now, this ownership team will never allow DePoto and Hollander to be aggressive. If they don't do it now, 24 of them things it took for you to get back to the situation, and you felt like you were just outmanned, and yet you were still in a position to where you could have won this game and taken yourself to a World Series. If this doesn't keep them up at night, if they aren't tossing and turning and trying to figure out ways and getting ahead and looking to see who's going to be out there, if they aren't aggressive now, then there is absolutely no hope for this team, because you're not going to get another 60 from Cal. If you do, I would love it. I'd appreciate it, but I'm not going to ask Cal to do that again. It is not fair. You don't know if Gino's going to be back. You're going to lose about 49 bombs if that's the case. We just got to see it now. If it doesn't happen now, then I'm going to lose even more faith in what's going on upstairs. Understanding that Jerry and Justin have their hands tied because they're not the ones writing the checks. They got to go out there and make $1 out of 15 cents.
Well, maybe, but why? Now, I understand that, if I'm Mariners ownership and the people with the money, right, people with the pockets that I got to dig into and spend. Here I am talking about house money I'm not even rolling with. But if you look around, I will accept as an answer we don't have the spending power of the Dodgers, because that's just factually correct. That's true. And that has to do with network deals. That has to do with other stuff that, like, the vast majority of teams don't have that. That's a reality. But you heard Ryan talk about what attendance does, what getting into the playoffs does, what these extra games do in terms of the revenue that you are bringing in. You have no excuse not to spend. There is zero excuse for you to roll out the exact same payroll you did last year, because you simply cannot run it back. Do you know how much had to go right for your team? You had to have Brian Wu tie pitching records that we hadn't seen in a while. You had to have Cal Raleigh do something we'd never, ever, ever seen before. You had to have a lot of magic go right. You had to win 17 of 18. You had to have Robles make this improbable catch. Mike Varell for the Seattle Times has this fantastic column talking about all the things that had to feel so magical and go so magically right this season, and why so many Mariners fans feel heartbroken, because they feel like the odds of any of those things happening again are just so entirely and incredibly too small. And they are. Which is why you need to make up the difference by spending. And you need to make up the difference by taking more risks and being more aggressive.
You know what happened to the Mariners? It's what happens to me when I'm in Vegas sometimes. I sit down at the I don't gamble much. When I do, I play 21. And I bet the minimum, just keep the drinks flowing. I'm going to tip you. Just come check on me every 15, 30 minutes, right? And then when I start winning, I put some chips in my pocket and I act like they're not there. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to hold these for later. And then I might have a drink or two and forget that those chips are in my pocket. I get up to the room like, oh, snaps.
Yeah.
I got an extra $100,
That's girl
$200. That's what happens to the Mariners. They're like, oh, snaps. With these extra games,
look what I found.
We got some more money. Use that money. Invest, okay? Put it back into the organization. Go get you some guys. You have some pieces here.
Okay, we're going to talk about bouncing back from Heartbreak coming up at 10:30. I promise you will laugh with Get Off My Lawn coming up at 10:45. Back to baseball with Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman at 11. We will be revisiting Dan's decision a little bit and then also kind of looking ahead specifically to what the Mariners can learn from one team in the past that went to a World Series loss and then went back. And then we're going to get to some Seahawks stuff because the Seahawks are 5-2. Entering into a bye week, and that is in a good spot because they are tied for the best record in the NFC with 5 other teams. That's fine. But again, we'll talk about how they can differentiate themselves. Right now, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, in an interview with Sportsnet Radio in Toronto, Jays manager John Schneider said even he was surprised to see Edward Bizzardo enter Game 7.
No one else I'd rather have up than George in October in that moment. I honestly thought I thought Dan was bringing in Spire to make me force a pinch hit at Lukey, knowing that he had Vladdy behind him, but I was a little surprised it was Bizzardo. As soon as Bizzardo came in out of the pen, I said, okay, he's pitching to Georgie, and I said, game on. I said, Georgie's got the upper hand no matter what. It's a guy that has shown that has been in those situations and navigates them better than anybody in the game, basically, in our time right now. Against a guy that has great stuff. I see his numbers, 160 average versus righties, 12 strikeouts, 1 walk, whatever it was. On paper, baseball, it makes sense. We have the upper hand as soon as that happened, man.
What's the real headline?
If your opponent's pleasantly surprised, you might be making the wrong move.
He said game on. In his mind, he was thinking a little flip, game over. He knew. Because there are decisions that are made, right? Say in football, for instance, if I come out in a certain formation and you give me exactly what I think I'm going to get, I'm thinking, all right, let's go. But if you come out and you give me something that's going to, throw me off a little bit, I'm all right, let's see how this goes. It's opposite in this situation. He didn't get exactly what he thought he was going to get. It threw him off a little bit. He's like, oh, but this is even better. This is even better. So in this situation, sometimes as a manager, as an organization, you tip your cap and say, and you, in hindsight, it's going to be 2020. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. They have a reason for putting Bizzardo out there. And maybe it's too by the book. It's too technical. At times, you just got to go with your gut and say, I need that slider out there. I need 100 on the mound. I need the dude who has been resting for 2 days, who is ready to go. Put him out there, win or lose, with my dog.
But I wonder if Wilson went with his gut here and it was the wrong call. Like, I wonder if we already know there are numbers and analytics pointing to going with Munoz. Like, I wonder if Wilson thought, well, Bizzardo's been good for us in these moments. He's left runners stranded before. He's been spectacular for us in the postseason. And then completely forgot that there are many, many analytics that you can turn to in those moments about what relievers become the third time or second time even facing a pitcher, right? Or facing a batter. That, like, when a reliever faces the same guy that many times, it becomes a problem.
His gut was horribly wrong in that moment.
Horribly wrong.
Me, who doesn't know half the baseball that Dan knows, my gut was like, why are we doing this? It was almost the same feeling when Robbie Ray got in that game against Jordan back in the day. And I'm thinking, why are we doing this? Why? I know analytics forget all that. Why are we doing this? But he has his reasons, man. And that's what I know people are going to jump on Dan. He's been jumped on in national media for the last couple of days. All right. He's in a position where he has to do what he thinks is best for the team. He thought in his heart, in his soul, analytics, whatever he's looking at, that was best for the team. It didn't work out. I feel for him in that sense, but I think everybody and their mama and their grandmama wanted Munoz out there.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, in a stark departure from his usual self, Russell Wilson took some big shots at Sean Payton, calling him classless and adding, didn't realize you're still bounty hunting through the media 15 years later. What's the real headline?
This might be the most likable Russell Wilson's ever been. Okay, Russ.
Clap back at him.
Yeah.
Clap back.
So we do have that cut of Sean Payton. Wasn't it him saying basically that he wished the Denver Broncos could have had a chance to face the Giants when Russell Wilson was still starting?
Yeah.
I'll summarize
Jackson
it.
Dart.
Yeah. So just once again taking a shot at Russ, which granted is entirely unnecessary. It's entirely unnecessary.
It
At that
is.
point, you're just making a low-hanging fruit type joke because you know people don't like Russ and Russ played poorly and you don't like Russ. And I get it. You can hate whoever you want. But
There's no need.
I kind of like this version of Russ clapping back.
I can imagine him and Sierra laying in bed typing this up, be like, "Oh, we gonna get him with this one, babe. We gonna," and Sierra gassed him. Boo, they're not gonna expect that from you. He gonna be like, "Yeah, they not, huh? I'm gonna get him." He gonna have that voice he had when Seattle. I'm back.
Hey,
we come back.
Seattle.
He ain't gonna expect
Hey,
that.
Sean.
I love this for Russell, man. Go ahead and do your thing, dog. You're gonna be a backup for the rest of your career, probably, if you want to do that. And if someone wants to take a shot at you, you go ahead and do your thing.
Yeah, I think it's completely appropriate. I know that there are some people that are like, wow, someone had to have written it for him. That's entirely out of character. And it's like, I think Russ is incredibly careful about the public persona that he constructs. I don't think that means that he's incapable of talking about people.
Oh, no.
So
everybody got a little bit of that in them.
everyone's
For
got a little
sure.
bit of that in him. Sierra might have helped him construct a little bit. Someone on his team might have helped
His
construct it.
wifey.
But you know what? He okayed it, and in a very weird way, I'm co-signing it.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, Jets head coach Aaron Glenn says he knows who his team's quarterback will be for Week 8, but he's going to keep it a secret.
Ooh.
What's the real headline?
The only thing we do know ahead of this one is the Jets will lose. I know it's the Bengals. It's just such a weird thing to say. Like, yeah, no, we know who's starting, but shh, it's a secret.
What was?
So the
What's
issue is
advantage in that, man? I get what I guess I get what he's doing. It's hard for other teams to prepare if they don't know who the starter's going to be.
And Tyrod Taylor's dealing with a little bit of a knee thing.
And my Cougs did that, but we were like 30-point underdogs and doing anything we can to keep them guessing.
Maybe that's what the Jets are doing.
But yeah, I guess Tyrod's a little banged up, and Glenn has to do whatever he can. I feel bad for this dude. He knows football. That's the thing about every coach who's been there with the Jets. They know football. You don't become a head coach in this league without knowing football, without being at least a decent leader, without being able to construct a good staff. There's something about that green and white that just kills careers on the field, on the sidelines with coaches. I thought if anyone was going to be able to kind of change all that, it was going to be this guy, but so far, no good.
Heartbreak is entirely too hard to sit with. And I know that we all feel horrible for the guys in this clubhouse right now, but it can also drive a team to new heights. That's according to Ryan Dempster, and that is coming your way next.
They restored hope to the loyal, longtime fans.
The Mariners will play in October.
And showed a new generation what October baseball looks like.
Get out the rye bread and mustard, Grandma. It is grand salami time. Hey, Eugenio Suarez.
The next season will hang a new banner.
The Seattle Mariners are champions in the American League West.
Congrats on a great run, boys, from your proud partners at Seattle Sports.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Happy 40th birthday to us at Pacific Power Batteries. Since 1985, we've learned that our customers seem to appreciate product knowledge and helpful advice about anything battery related. At Pacific Power Batteries, we like to sponsor smaller community causes and teams because they have a real community connection, sort of like a battery to a starter. Does that make sense? I'm Steve Alman, and all of us hope to connect with you soon at one of our Pacific Power Batteries stores.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your priceless vinyl collection. Sure, you sleep on a futon because the money most people would have spent on a bed you spent on more records. But forget the fact that you can stream just about any song ever created for a few dollars a month. No, you need to listen to music in the most difficult way possible. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Touchdown! Seahawks! Ken Walker III!
Get everything Seahawks at seattlesports.com.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, and guaranteed repairs. This dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, and a full service history, all at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence. Bucky's.com.
Stacy Roth here from Seattle Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of. And then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, prescriptions. But imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate, noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle, yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target problem areas: waistline, face, neck, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. For your free consultation and $250 off, visit ProSculpt.com for powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men. It's ProSculpt.com.
Sparta's Pizza reminds parents 460,000 children are reported missing in our country every year. Please plan with your kids a safe, visible route to and from activities with at least one friend. Coach your kids to stay alert and be aware of their surroundings, and caution your children to never accept gifts or rides from strangers. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Sparta's Pizza and Spaghetti House, serving the best pizza in the universe in Linwood, Bothell, and Mill Creek, or find them online at spartaspizza.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Bump's gonna rant and rave about three things absolutely driving him crazy coming up in 15 minutes. Is one about the airport? Is there one about the airport?
Most definitely.
Oh, every time. But you know what? It's funny every time.
Big part of my life.
Players can use heartbreak as fuel, but it only works if decision makers are willing to sacrifice too. That's going to be the theme of this one. Let's take a listen to Ryan Dempster, who was on with Wyman and Bob the other day, talking about what this kind of Game 7 heartbreak can do in terms of motivation.
That's an amazing amount of fuel to be that close to eating the carrot and have somebody snatch it from you. That's why guys work harder in the off season than some guys. They're motivated. You know, it's going to motivate certain guys to want to be a little bit better, whether that's a starting pitcher putting a little extra work in so he stays healthy throughout the year. whether that's Cal, having that little chip on his shoulder now to try and go out and get anywhere remotely close to what he just did. And then the other guys in that room, what can we be better at? How can we do this again? How can we put ourselves back in that same scenario? And I think when you look at their ball club and you look how they're constructed, you go, okay, yeah, absolutely. Now, what do? They got some free agents, and we know that, there's always a possibility where you go money in other places. But right now, currently as they're constructed, there's no reason to think. If everything was to stay the same and they get all those guys back, I believe they put themselves in, be the favorite to win the division and a chance to go back into the CS again and win a pennant.
All right. He also talked about how tough this moment is.
It really was like the game's over. Like, that's how it felt, because you went to Toronto against the Blue Jays in that stadium and you got the lead. That's what you knew you needed to do. And you took it into the bottom of the seventh inning with one out, and then a 3-run home run crushes you. So yeah, it just sucks, man. It does. And it feels like a failure. And hopefully these guys can sit back and be like, wow, man, that was the most fun I had playing baseball ever in my life, to be that close to the World Series. And they deserve to feel that way. And I hope at some point this offseason they do, because they gave Mariner fans a season for the ages, and they gave baseball fans, an appreciation for what's going on up there in the Pacific Northwest.
I know that part of this, a huge chunk of the fan base is probably feeling like, how do you even reset? This is the furthest you've been. It's the biggest heartbreak. It was the most important game in franchise history, the biggest heartbreak in franchise history. How do you just head back to spring and head back to February and pitchers and catchers reporting and just start it all over again, knowing you might not get that close? But I thought it was interesting to hear from someone who had been on a team that won a World Series about what it kind of takes to get back there and the fuel that you do need to do it.
Here's what I'm almost absolutely sure is going to happen. The guys who are on the diamond, the guys who had success on the diamond, the guys who struggled on the diamond, are going to take a little break and get fired up and go. You heard Julio yelling in the locker room, right? Those guys feel it the most. I'm 99.9% sure Cal's going to get after it. Julio's going to get after it. Polanco, JP, all these guys you depend on are going to go hard this offseason and tell themselves, you know what? We get in that position again, we're going to be good to go. The question is, are the guys in the suits and ties going to allow the funds, release the funds to help these guys who are going to work their what's off during the offseason? All that sounds great. I'm not worried about the players. I'm not worried about that. You saw, I think Shannon Drayer put out a tweet, was it yesterday, where she showed the dugout as they watched the Blue Jays celebrate. It wasn't super dramatic like Stephon Diggs, going out there as the confetti falls. But nobody left. Everybody sat there and took that in, and they were devastated. I'm not worried about those dudes. Those dudes are going to go hard and do what they have to do. They are professionals that get paid to do this. Will they get the support that they need to get over the hump? And are the guys who make those decisions looking at these guys and saying, well, they're good enough? I mean, if Woo's healthy, like we're talking, if Woo's healthy, who knows what's going to happen? If Rivas just connects on one of those pitches, who knows what's going to happen? They don't need to be thinking like that. That's for us, right? We look at what happened, what transpired on the field, and we try to make sense of it and speculate a bit. For them, their job upstairs is just to continue to support this team. They've done it during the trade deadline. And I think they have a bit more juice when it comes to free agents now, because you've shown you're capable of putting together a competitive team, and you didn't even have all your dogs throughout the season, or especially in the moments where it mattered the most.
Yeah.
Players, I'm good. Suits and ties, holla at me.
Well, and again, I know that not everyone likes doing cross-sport or cross-team comparisons with certain things, but I love it, and I especially love it because sometimes the perception we have of certain teams, like, the Rams win all the time. You forget the steps they took to get there and the heartbreak that they experienced and that fans experienced getting to a Super Bowl against the New England Patriots, being an electric offense that was completely shut down, and what I feel was not only the most boring Super Bowl, but an incredibly painful Super Bowl for Rams fans to watch and go, nothing? Nothing? Gurley? Nothing? Goff? Nothing? And then they made some key moves, ended up getting back there, beat the Bengals, got their Super Bowl rings. You look at the Kansas City Royals, who in 2014 went to a Super Bowl and infamously, with a runner on third, got their final out. They were that close to tying the game and winning that game. That was game 7. You think game 7 of an ALCS hurt? And it absolutely did. Game 7 of a World Series has to be worse if you can even fathom.
sure.
I can't. I've never experienced that. But then they went back. And we're going to talk with Jordan Shusterman coming up at 11 about, like, you know, mostly about the Mariners. But, hey, Jordan, how did the Royals do that? And, you know, what did you see? And maybe we'll get to it a bit later in the show. The Mariners aren't going to be able to take the exact same path. It's a different era. It was 10 years ago. But there are teams that go there, lose. Maybe they go there again and lose, or get close and lose over and over. And then finally they're able to do it. And what makes those things so exceptional is the mental fortitude you have to have, like this team will at some point in the season. At some point, this version of the Mariners in 2026, whatever they might look like, will go out there and they'll start to struggle. And let's say they lose a hold on first place. Let's say that they dropped a third. Let's say they have a stretch of 8 losses, whatever it is. You can't think in that moment, I knew we wouldn't be able to get back. And I don't have to be in there. Those are what the players have to, they have to power themselves through that. I cannot fathom the mental strength it takes to do that. But that's the test that all those other teams, the other iterations of different teams across different leagues, that's what they had to do to get back there too. And that's what this Mariners team is going to have to do.
I think it's going to be easier for them. They're going to lose 4, 5, 6 in a row next year. It's going to happen. Or Dodgers lost 7, 8 in a row at some point this year. It's going to happen this baseball. I think it's easier for the players to work through it because they're the ones who have a direct effect on the result. It's us and the suit and tie is the ones that be like, oh, my God, here we go. Because we have absolutely no control over it. I guess the guys upstairs do have a bit control over it, but when they're actually playing, nothing. So that's where I think that losing in the 7th game of the CS is going to help them in those moments because they know we're good enough. We've been there before. We've lost games in a row. We've had months where we look like garbage. We've overcame. We put together 14 wins. Like that's the positive in all this. I know people don't want to hear that right now. I was on my drive in. I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready to be positive about exactly what happened during the season. I've watched it go down on a Monday. I came here angry on a Tuesday. On a Wednesday, I'm reflecting now because I can't control that it's over. All right, we're going to talk about the negatives. But now I'm thinking, how did this run help this team? And I think that because of all the stuff they went through and they're still able to get there, mentally they're going to be able to tap into a different place. That's what all these experiences do. They allow you to tap into somewhere emotionally that make you build up some belief and some durability and say, we're going to be good. Just keep at it. So that's a positive throughout this whole thing.
You know what I will say another positive is what I think is going to be a culture shift? Raise your hand if the minimum bar for you for the Mariners 2 years ago, but even entering this season, was get to a World Series.
Heck no, let's just get in.
Anyone? I said on air, I think the bar is getting to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That was the bar. Well, what's the bar now? Is it higher? Good. If it's higher, then good. That's a positive. That's a culture shift, and you need to keep it there. Most of my time growing up, the bar was not World Series. The bar was please end the drought. That was most of my childhood, teenagehood, throughout a good chunk of my adulthood. Like, that's it. For everyone else listening, obviously, also. I think that's one positive to stick with as we kind of like wrap this up is that, like, I do think there's a tone shift and a culture shift around what the bar is, what expectations are for this club, and it should stay there. So.
Yeah, you got a new standard here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can appreciate
Top
that.
shelf drinks.
Get off my lawn coming your way next.
What a ride.
The Seattle Mariners are champions in the American League West.
We watch stars reach new heights.
Julio, a tremendous catch slamming into the wall. The no-fly zone in full effect.
We saw history.
Watch it fly! Cal Raleigh, how far? Whoa!
Congrats on a great run, boys. From your proud partners at Seattle Sports.
Things are getting spooky around here. What's up is bump, and fall is my favorite time of the year. Of course, you got football, you got the baseball playoffs, you got fall golf. The leaves are turning different colors. You see the kids and adults walking around in funny costumes What is not to love? But this year, I want to start a new tradition. I'm going to drive up I-5 and get to Silver Reef Casino Resort. They have everything you need. They have deluxe rooms where you can actually spread out and feel comfortable and relax. You can head downstairs and watch the games on their big screens at the sportsbook while grabbing a bite to eat. Then I'm going to head outside. I'm going to Loomis Trails Golf Course. They got rates you cannot beat for a course this nice. There's waters, there's trees. It loops back into the forest. You feel like you're out there by yourself for a couple of holes. And then when I'm golfing, the missus can check out the spa. We'll meet back up for a delicious dinner at either the steakhouse or the cantina. They got a bunch of options for you. Sounds like an awesome trip. You should do it. I'm going to do it. I've already done it. Go up I-5, get off exit 260. You'll find Silver Reef Casino. Go to silverreefcasino.com.
Tired of uneven heating, noisy systems, and high energy bills? The Quilt Ductless Heat Pump from Home Comfort Alliance gives you room-by-room control and serious savings with every system, and every system qualifies for max tax credits. Call the Comfort People at HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Cancer impacts so many families, including mine. Former Washington Husky Mario Bailey here. My mother was treated for cancer at UW Medicine. As devastating as cancer is, there is hope. Because the Cancer Vaccine Institute is developing vaccines to treat and prevent the deadliest cancers. Patients who received vaccines over 20 years ago are still alive today. Please join me and make a donation to the Cancer Vaccine Institute at local Safeway stores. Learn more at uwcvi.org.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
The birth of the American supercar is roaring into LeMay, America's Car Museum, October 25th. Curated by racing legend Steve Saleen, this high-octane exhibition features icons like Hennessy, Shelby, Zinger, and more. Don't miss it. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Front Row Card Show is returning to Tacoma. Join them at the Greater Tacoma Convention Center October 25th and 26th. Baseball, football, basketball, and hockey cards, plus collectibles such as Pokemon, Marvel, Star Wars, and comic books. Beckett, CGC, and JSA will be there, so bring your cards, comics, and autographs to sell, trade, or get them graded. More than 400 tables, thousands of dollars in free prizes. Front Row Card Show, Greater Tacoma Convention Center, Saturday and Sunday, October 25th and 26th, 11 to 5. For more info, go to frontrowcardshow.com.
This is the home of the Seahawks.
Going to let one fly deep. Got a man out there. Ball is caught down at the 10-yard line, and it's JSN.
Seattle Sports.
After years of football and the injuries that go with it, my first thought was always go get surgery. Hey, it's Dave Wyman, but after a consultation with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, my eyes were open to an alternative to surgery, and I'm talking about stem cell therapy. Well, and my buddy and co-host Bob Stelton, also in pain, and decided to go see Dr. Wagner.
I had a hip issue from 14 years of jiu-jitsu.
How's the pain now?
Everything I did before, I can do just as well. Hitting the heavy bag, sparring, rolling, all of that is back in play. This whole thing has been such a pleasant surprise because I really was of the mindset, I'm going to have to go under the knife. I'm going to have to get surgery. And this really saved me from that. I could not be happier with the results.
Whether it's a hip like Bob had, a shoulder, a knee, a wrist, an ankle, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine.
Do it. You will not regret it.
Hey, get the facts, hear from all the patients I've talked to, and schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Ward C. Moeller and Associates remind listeners we lose an average of 37 people every day to alcohol-related crashes and many more to distracted driving. Make an agreement with your loved ones to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with a driver who is. Always designate a sober driver or take a ride share for a safe ride home. Here's to a sober and text-free commute from the entire team at Ward C. Moeller and Associates. Family-owned since 1955, providing top-quality services for all your land surveying needs.
At Bible Law Group, our team reflects the same lessons learned by our founder, James Bible, while playing for legendary Husky coach Don James. Coach James always said it's amazing what gets done when nobody claims credit. That's the philosophy we carry into every case, because your victory is what matters at Bible Law Group. When your legal problems hit biblical levels and you feel like you're stuck in a lion's den of litigation, you need a legal team that won't back down. At Bible Law, we've secured over $40 million in settlements for our clients, and we're ready to fight for you. Find us online at BibleLawGroup.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up in 15, Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman going to talk about the Mariners and where they go from here. Before we get to that, though, every single Wednesday at 10:45, one Michael Bumpus has 3 things that he's just got to complain about. He's finding that in his older age, he's getting irritated. He's getting mad. He finally understands why people yell, "Get off my lawn," to all these kids. So, Bump, what 3 things are driving you crazy this week?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Let me preface this by saying when I talk about the airport stuff, old people are excluded from this. Old people, you do whatever it is you need to do to get through this process.
You walk at your
comfortably. You get assistance. You take your time. I ain't talking about older people. I'm talking about the young to middle-aged, healthy, fast-walking, cognitively there type people.
Okay.
All right? Because some people are like, Bump, everyone's not the same on the street. Someone told me, what about this? I'm like, hey, relax.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about them. This first one. All right, what do you need before you get on a plane? You line up and you have to show what to get on the plane.
Your ID and your boarding pass.
Your ID and your boarding pass. Mostly just your boarding pass sometimes.
Oh.
I don't know where you're going.
Oh, I don't travel a lot.
Just your boarding pass.
I have all of it ready.
Ready to go. Good for you. Just in case they need it. All right. Good for you. Okay. And you have multiple. When I used to coach football, I always used to put my my seniors or people who know what I wanted up front. But hey guys, pay attention. This is what I want from you. Okay? They go through the drill, boom, boom, boom. If you want to get me mad, you be the 5th person in the drill and jack up the drill. You just have 4 opportunities to watch and see what was going on. That's what it is with boarding passes. How are you the 20th person in the line and don't have your boarding pass ready to go? What are you doing is sitting there in La La Land thinking about this, that, and the third, and you're like group B or C? You've had 30 opportunities to watch people check out the boarding pass or get out the boarding pass and get on. And now you're sitting there and you're fumbling. You're like, oh my God, I don't know where it is. What am I doing? Calm yourself down. Move to the side, all right, and let us experienced travelers get on this thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. If I'm going to get on my kids at practice and tell them to watch the 3 or 4 guys in front of you, pay attention, learn the process. If I'm anywhere and I don't know the process, I'm looking, I'm observing. All right, how do we do this? What are we going to do here? It's very frustrating. And it really gets on my nerves. So have your boarding pass ready to go so we can what? Make this process smoother.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. It's not just for me. It's for all of us. Let's make this process smoother.
Next time, can you please yell at someone who starts fumbling for their boarding pass? You had 19 learning opportunities. You had 19 lessons there.
Come on.
What were you doing before this? Have you ever been on a plane? Have you ever been to the airport? Have you ever stared at people in front of you? That's so funny.
It's literally called a boarding pass. You must show this to board. All right, old people, do your thing. I ain't stressing you. And people with kids, I get all that too.
You're in the background.
Kids are
Take
crazy.
your time.
Kids
Take
are
your
crazy.
time.
Don't worry about it. No pressure. No pressure. We good.
No pressure. What's next?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
All right, this one we kind of already talked about, but this one really got me. This one really got me. You ever see those videos on Instagram or X or whatnot? And there's this bully just messing with this kid, right? Maybe he's smaller, maybe he's not as confident, and he's messing with him. Maybe they start hitting him. I just hate bullies. Get on my nerves, all right? And every now and then, either the kid that's being bullied will step up and smack the heck out of the bully, and the bully's shocked, or someone runs to the kid's rescue and starts jacking up the bully. Sean Payton is a bully, all right? He knew Russell Wilson, one of the nicest guys in the league, one of the nice guys in the league. You might not like his performance. You might think he's corny, all right? He went out and he tried to bully Russell Wilson on the low, right? If he were talking to a Cam Newton or a player
who regularly talks back.
A player who is just a bit more outgoing when it comes to their personality and is going to clap back at him. He wouldn't have done that. He was a bully in that moment, man. And I'm so glad that Russell Wilson clapped back at him. I don't care how you feel about Russell Wilson, his play, his personality, whatever. Russell Wilson is a good citizen, a good husband. Don't get in trouble. He's a good dude. So I think that Sean Payton was a bully in that moment. He saw an opportunity to take shots at a guy that he felt like wasn't going to say anything back to him. That's some bully type stuff. And that's one thing I cannot stand in school. Bullies, man. Somebody get after him. And you know what I like, too? Jamal Adams kind of clapped back, too, in Russell's defense.
I didn't see that.
He just, it was a meme. You go check it out. It was a meme. And then what I don't like about that is that people are talking under the comments, oh, but Jamal, you're washed and Russell's washed. Y'all be quiet. Those dudes have made a lot of money playing a game that you wish you could have played. All right, and Jamal's coming to Russell's defense. Sean Payton was a bully in that moment, man. Mm-hmm. And I don't know him personally. I've heard from people that I know who've interacted with him that he's a decent guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but in that moment, that was some bully activity right there. All right, so Russell, I'm proud of you. Clap back at him, and he did it respectfully in a classy way, and called out some facts too. So I'm proud of Russell in that moment. He got back at the bully.
All right, what's last?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
All right, so we got some things going on at Skyline, right? And our guy has been reinstated. Peyton Pallor, good job. Happy that you have been reinstated, and it's all because a quarterback's parents was mad that a younger quarterback was playing in front of him. All right, if your son's not getting the job done, then we're going to play the best player. That's just how this goes, okay? Parents, I can almost guarantee you your son's not going to go pro. Anyone listening, parents, all right, my kids probably ain't going pro. Curtis's kids probably ain't going pro. All the kids of our coworkers, they're probably not going pro, okay? It is extremely hard to do. So take that mindset into whatever you're doing. Just support your kid. He ain't going pro. He might not even go to college. She might not even play in college. You got 1 million high school football players, 81,000 college players. 1% of those players go to the NFL. You got 970,000 high school basketball players, 34,000 college players. 2% of those people go to the NBA. You're not going pro. If you happen to go pro, that is extra. All right, that's an extra bonus for supporting your kid and taking them to soccer practice and patting little Bobby on the back when he gets scored on. Okay. Your kids aren't going pro. Just support them. And if they're getting outplayed by a younger guy, so be it. Work harder. It is what it is. If Peyton doesn't win ball games in Skyline, they're going to fire him. So what's he going to do? Put the best player out there. I'm glad Skyline got this right. Parents, your kids aren't going pro. They might not play college ball. Just support them and hope that they learn some lessons through the sport.
I like the PSA of the hands over the mouth. Your kids aren't going
They're
pro.
They're not going pro.
And if they do, fantastic. Good for them, right? But let that be a learning opportunity because I would imagine that being able to work through being benched or even just momentarily dealing with a setback will make your kids stronger in the long run. And if your solution to every single time your son has an obstacle is to handle it for him by trying to get someone fired, let me tell you exactly the person your son's going to be at 30. Not someone you're going to like.
Hey, he ain't going pro.
You don't know that.
99.9% of the people listening right now with kids who play sports, they aren't going pro.
I could have gone
pro. And if they do go pro, use this as motivation to say, Bump said you wasn't going pro.
Ooh.
And then get at me like 5-6 years from now.
Someone also said before we go here that they're wondering if you have a Costco get off my lawn. Maybe something to keep in mind for next time.
I'm write that down. We're going to Costco.
Okay, go to Costco and just observe. And see what's there and see how you feel. All right, Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman joining us next.
Get inside the huddle.
The handoff inside. Sherman, he's going to go. Touchdown, Seahawks.
Taking you inside the VMAC every week. Thursdays, noon to 2.
Our guys show up to play.
Player interviews.
It's obviously been paying off. Just going to continue to do that.
Previewing this week's matchup.
We'll say they come out and just run the ball down the Niners' throats.
And everything Seahawks.
If anybody had a doubt, don't.
The Huddle. Every Thursday at noon. Exclusively on the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bailalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit buckys.com.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come work with IRG. And Shannon, what kind of staff are you looking for at IRG?
Brock, we're looking for all kinds of clinical staff, physical therapists, occupational therapists, athletic trainers, certified occupational therapy technicians, physical therapy assistants, you name it on the clinical side. We are looking for those folks. But we are really looking for folks that want to come to an organization that want to be part of our culture and change the culture and work with us to provide the best care and service we can to our patients, our team, and our community. So those clinical people out there, we're looking for you. We also provide advanced certification. We want to provide you mentorship. We want you to grow personally and professionally here at IRG.
And with over 40 clinics throughout the Pacific Northwest, you've got the opportunity to work in the city you want. Just head over to irgpt.com/careers. That's irgpt.com/careers.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com. This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The winless Jets could be starting a new quarterback in Week 8, but head coach Aaron Glenn isn't telling reporters anything yet. Tyrod Taylor replaced a struggling Justin Fields against the Panthers, but Glenn isn't committing yet to which quarterback will start Sunday against the Bengals. If Taylor's healthy, you'd assume it's him, though. That's also because of comments from Jets owner Woody Johnson, who criticized Justin Fields' play on Tuesday. Meanwhile, we already know one starting quarterback who will definitely be out. The Commanders are starting Marcus Mariota Monday against the Chiefs. Per ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, Jaden Daniels is dealing with a low-grade hamstring strain.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. And Jordan, I wish that our last interview with you this season wasn't just a post-mortem about the Mariners' year, although Bump and I would both like to eventually get to the point of talking about looking forward to a new bar being get to a World Series for the Mariners, which is the first time we've said that in a very, very, very long time. Let's start with Game 7, though, and I'm going to be really honest. I went into that game going, God, it just feels like the Blue Jays have out-hit the Mariners. I don't know if they can get this done. And then Cal hit a home run, 3-1. You're in the 7th, and I'm thinking, like, I think they might actually do it. And then came Dan's decision. How shocked were you to see that he didn't turn to Munoz in that moment?
Yeah, so having been in the building for it, less shocked because I could see the bullpen and saw that Munoz wasn't even moving at all. I think Brash was maybe scooting around, and even that, I think you could have argued, you know, maybe would have made more sense. But yeah, I think it was surprising because of how the game was going. I think that a big part of this decision is not just the decision itself, it's how it works in tandem with the decision that came before it, which was to throw Brian Wu really for as long as you could, right? And I think that decision indicated that this was a different game, that this was a different situation, that this was not a normal situation. This was not a situation you've been in before. You were going to ride with Wu as long as possible. And I think it was pretty clear that Wu, reached the end of the line there. And I know there are some people that said, no, you just got to stick with him even against Springer because of how bad he made him look in the at-bat before. And you could argue that, but I think you could tell that while his stuff was good, that the command was not normal Brian Wu whatsoever. And we know that. I think it's a challenge for us to really talk about him in general because we don't know how built up he is. We don't know if he was throwing well, would they have let him throw the rest of the game, right? It's just that's kind of an unanswerable question. Now all that said, when you decide to go to the bullpen, I bring that up because if you're using Brian Wu like that, you are saying this is a different game. This is not a regular game. And so then to go to Bizzardo and then afterwards explain it as saying, like, we've gone to him in that spot all year, that's what's a little bit difficult. And I think that what is hard is because Bizzardo has been so good the whole season, has had these moments in the postseason. It's not that Bizzardo is necessarily a terrible option. It's that in this moment, in this unique time, he is not your best one. And I think that is why people are rightfully upset.
Yeah, that was my thing. If we're going to lose, man, I want to go down with our best guys out there. If Munoz just gets lit up, so be it. It's just not your day. And so it makes me ask the question, how much control do we think Dan has? I don't know. It's probably impossible or hard for you to absolutely know. Maybe you can speculate a little bit. What's the trend around the bigs with the rookie Skip? How much control do you think Dan had, and how much of it was, okay, previous planning? If we get into the situation, this is what we're going to do.
But this goes back to my original point, because when Wu comes in with the lead, like that felt like the script. That felt like something that the organization had agreed, like, we are going to put our best guy out there in a way that we normally would. We're not going to do Spire, even against some of these lefties, like we're going to go to Brian Wu, who is our all-star starter. And so that's where it makes me think that for whatever reason, as that inning quickly unfolded, Dan made the decision. I think that's the other thing in these high-stakes moments. Like, they have to. The front office can't call down and be like, no, do Bizzardo, do this. You can't throw Munoz. Like, no, it's for all of course, there's plenty of planning that goes into it. And I'm sure that they had some sort of vision ahead. mean, I've talked to a lot of people around the game about this decision, and the one thing that you would hope is that this was a scenario that they had talked about beforehand, so that they can at least, feel like that they went with the decision that they had planned on. Again, whether that's a good or a bad one, you could obviously disagree with. But I don't know. I do feel like because of how it was going, it was his decision in the moment. And whether that was a deviation from the original plan, once again, we'll never know. But or at least probably not anytime soon. But maybe in some book in so many years, maybe we find something out. But for now, I think we are just kind of left to deal with how it went. But it wasn't, as hard as it is to admit, it's not the only reason they lost, and it's not the only reason they lost the series in general. I think the Blue Jays really outplayed them for the last 5 games outside of that 8th inning in Game 5. I think you could really say that.
I know we're dwelling on that moment, but it was so big, so I got one more question about it. Passan was on our morning show, and he said that's a move that a manager makes 10 to 15 years ago. Explain that to me. What does he mean by that?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing, and this is why it's so hard. It's because it's the stubbornness to diverge from of what you've done. And I think that now the urgency in the postseason and kind of the creativity of going to starters, it's something that we've seen before, but it's really become more accepted. We saw it on the other side for Toronto also in this game too, and going to Gossman. And I think that's really what it was. It's kind of being unable to escape from what you think is just like how it's supposed to go in what is unfortunately in this case, literally the highest leverage moment of, as I said on the podcast this morning, not just the season, but the franchise. Yeah. And so that's where it really, of course, all gets magnified.
I think I sure wish, and I'm sure every single fan does, that the Mariners' very first Game 7 in franchise history didn't come with Game 7 heartbreak for the very first time. But I guess hand in hand, we now all finally understand what that feeling and anticipation, and also what individual decisions can cost. Let's go back to what you mentioned about some of the other things, though, because you're right. We actually started our show by talking about, hey, we've had now a couple days to sit and think about Dan's decision. Let's take a step back and look at the LCS as a whole. We landed on talking quite a bit about pitching and how that was so central to how they were able to get through the ALDS against the Tigers and just completely fell apart. I mean, you look at Game 3 with Kirby and then 4 with Castillo at home, Game 6 with Gilbert, and you just think like, man, this is a series that could have been won had those things changed, had pitching been better. And something about that feels more in your control, right? It feels like something you can fix with spending or talent or development or what have you. Is that kind of what you landed on as well with the arms, or where did you stand?
No, I think that's totally fair, right? Of course, having been out there and watching those games and them coming home with the 2-0 lead, like you can say that's where you lost the series, right? You come home with the 2-0 lead, and you're supposed to be that good at home and you're supposed to know that your pitching is going to be that good at home. And that's where it doesn't show up. I think that's absolutely where you could say that is all the bit more important. Now that's, you play your way back into it, you get it to a Game 7 and they get credit for that as well. But no, especially when you see what it kind of took to get past the Tigers. Yeah. I think that, you can't afford that. Again, the Blue Jays are way better. They're way better. And getting them to 7 games is a credit to what they accomplished in those 2 games and to start the series. It's a credit to what the comeback that can't take that away from what that happened. I mean, that was still a very special night, in Game 5. But no, the Blue Jays were better in the series. And I know that I came on the show a week ago in person and I said, well, the Mariners look like the better team because that was true for 2 games. But over the course of the whole season, the Blue Jays have been more consistent the whole time. There's a reason they got the top seed. They did not ride the roller coaster as much, and they earned it. And so I think that the talent was really close in this series going into it. We saw what happened after those first 2 games. Rest of the way, Toronto looked better. And I think, like I said, getting it to 7 is in some ways a credit and in some ways a frustration based on how the series started.
Clearly, the Mariners got a lot to do, right? Signing some guys, convincing them to stay, but also got some talent in the farm system. Who should we expect to see next year, if anybody, in a timetable, if you have any type of clue there?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, the thing about questions like that is, especially as you go into an off season, is We don't know what kind of trades they're going to try to make, depending on how they're going to try to fill holes based on what they do with free agency. Of course, if they do bring back Naylor, if they do these other things, are there parts of the roster that they still feel need addressed, or do they think that the Colt Emersons could actually help this year or this 2026? Is that really going to be an option? How much are you trusting Cole Young? I mean, that's going to be a big question too. Young and Williamson, versus Polanco and Suarez. I think Polanco especially is, maybe the most difficult one to kind of figure out. Whereas Naylor, I think you see the fit. Either they will find a way to make it work or not. Suarez and Polanco, it's a little bit easier to see them moving on based on what they have coming. So Emerson is definitely one to keep an eye on. I'm also really wondering just about the state of this pitching staff, and even from a health standpoint. I mean, that's another thing you have to wonder about with how Logan Gilbert kind of wore down at the very end there. Kirby, you got to give him credit. I mean, he looked really good in his 4 innings in Game 7, and you got to feel good about that. But with the ups and downs from a durability standpoint with the rotation, is that also something you're looking at? Or are you willing to trade a Logan Evans, who also finished the year injured? Willing to trade an Emerson Hancock? That's something to wonder about, because the other thing is, from the pitching standpoint, Jurangelo and Cade Anderson, who hasn't thrown a professional pitch yet, those guys are coming. I don't think Cade Anderson's going to take very long. It wouldn't be shocking if he pitches his way, and then in August next year, he's one of your 6 or 7 best starters.
Perhaps, Jordan, it's because the Dodgers are coming out of the National League as repeat appearances in a World Series, and they spend so much money. Or perhaps it's because the Mariners have watched the Astros do this over and over out of the American League, that it feels like, okay, well, the Giants can repeat, and teams that spend and teams that do all these things can show up. But what if this was the window? I think maybe that's the most common sentiment I see from Mariners fans. It's why later in our show we're going to be talking about the Kansas City Royals, who aren't the perfect comparison for the Mariners, but the reason it resonated with us is they are a team that had a window, and there are it's not that there are haves and have-nots in baseball, as you know, but there's something like that, where it's like when certain teams have windows, they must seize it because you have no idea when it's going to come along again. So I actually wanted to talk about those Royals, the 2014 and 2015 Royals, who lost in heartbreaking fashion in the final inning, final out of Game 7 in the World Series, and then made it back and won. A, are they a fair comparison for what the Mariners could do? And B, how can a team that has to make the most of smaller windows do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's, from a narrative standpoint, you can certainly see it, especially when you consider how little the Royals had won before, right? I mean, it had basically been 30 years in between. They hadn't even been in the postseason, right? I mean, so in some ways that's the same. I think baseball has changed a lot in the last 10 years in terms of how rosters are constructed and how you win. That Royals team and how they were good was a real moment in time for stylistic baseball, and homers and walks and strikeouts, that was not as much a thing. And their bullpen was such a big part of their success, and stealing bases and stuff like that. So stylistically and the talent involved, it's kind of hard to compare, not just because of how that team was built, but how all of baseball was built, and some of the advantages and disadvantages of just what good teams are kind of going through. With that said, I mean, it is a helpful example that it's, as daunting as it seems to get back to the mountaintop. And I think it's also, I imagine you're also bringing it up because of they did it and then they went back to being terrible, right? And so that's what feels scary. I think that there's ingredients here, and I think that the Mariners have earned this over the past 3-4 years, that they've now been good for longer. I mean, you look at that run for the Royals, it's really 3 years. They win 86 games in 13, 89 and 14, as you mentioned, 95 and 15, and then they just start sliding backwards, and suddenly they're losing 100 games. I don't see that with the Mariners because of how many pieces they have in place, and this is why having Julio and Cal as your just anchors up the middle, let alone the pitching, is a huge deal. But the pitching is a big part of it too. I mean, that's the part of the window that we're really talking about, and that's the part of the window, especially when we talked about last season feeling like a missed opportunity. That's where it starts to get a little bit more dicey from a health standpoint. But in terms of the position player core and a lot of what they have in place and what they have coming, and they do have more pitching coming, I feel like this is going to be a longer runway, but it is a little bit delicate in that sense. I definitely understand.
Well, You mentioned the pitching, right? It's been, a couple years before this, the Mariners didn't take advantage of their pitching situation. And this year, it felt like they fell short. They didn't take advantage of Kyle's historic season of picking up Geno, having, 4 or 5 guys hit over 20 bombs. So there is a world where Suarez isn't here, maybe Polanco isn't here. If you do have to replace those guys, you got to replace those bombs. Does the philosophy change here in Seattle? You're not going to get 60 from Kyle next year. Does the philosophy change, or do you think that they know what type of players they're looking for and they're going to stick with that?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and I think I don't see them totally changing. Again, I think that you're still viewing this model as successful in a lot of respects. And maybe that's not what fans want to hear. But no, there's a lot of production. I know that's a lot of production. And Julio and Cal is an incredible place to start, even if Cal is only hitting 40 home runs, which, again, every team in the league would happily take for their catcher. And Julio could still be getting better, right? Imagine Julio figures out how to hit in the first half. Now he's, in MVP consideration. So your floor there from an offensive standpoint is still going to be pretty high just with those two alone. That's why I still just go back to the pitch. Like the offense is... Do they get creative more so around that because they know they have Julio and Cal in place? I think that's interesting. The pitching is much harder to project because of the injury status of literally all of them based on how the season went. I just have no idea how to feel about basically any of these starters. And you could even lump Castillo in. He's the one guy who hasn't been hurt, but we know he's been someone that has been trending in the wrong direction. Still an effective starter, but not necessarily someone you're as excited to be fronting your rotation. So I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of talent still coming, and maybe you see the window extend because these young players show up and succeed. But the reality is half of them will and half of them won't because it's just prospects and they don't all hit. So you have to accept that as we've learned, as we just watched with Julio and Jared Kelenic, right? Like you had these two guys, and you're like, oh, well, surely these two guys will just be anchoring the outfield for the next 10 years. One of them is maybe a future Hall of Famer. The other one is like approaching out of baseball. So that is how these things go. And we will see how it kind of shakes out in terms of the young players that are actually going to be part of this future.
All right. Well, the Mariners season is unfortunately over, and so too are our weekly interviews with Jordan. But you can still hear more and read more from Jordan. You can read his work at Yahoo Sports, and also make sure that you are subscribed to the Baseball Barbie Cast podcast, also obviously a Yahoo Sports product. Regular episodes. It will keep you refreshed not only throughout the World Series, if you're brave enough to listen, but also the entire offseason. We're regular listeners, huge fans. It's the reason we couldn't wait to get Jordan on, so he will keep you, along with Jake Mintz, up to date on so many of the Mariners offseason moves around the league, just good things to keep an eye on. And Jordan, we have had so much fun having you on all year long. It's rare to have people who are national figures that are also incredibly knowledgeable about your own team. You're just a diehard baseball fan, and it's very obvious. Thank you so much for your time
Thanks,
this
Jordan.
season.
It was awesome, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. This was really fun this season. And yeah, if you are ready to go into off-season mode, we got our free agent rankings coming out very soon. So
I'm on it.
We're ready.
Be flipping into that mode very, very, very soon, friends. So, but this was so much fun all season, and hopefully I will be back at some point soon.
Definitely. Thank you, Jordan. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, what's something Mike McDonald did against the Texans that isn't typical, but you loved it?
I was hyped when I saw this. I was doing some film study, some breakdown, and he went with a double corner blitz. On that play where Ernest Jones has that interception, you got Josh Jobe at the top with a blitz. You got Reek Bullen at the bottom with a blitz. Reek is picked up by the running back, but Jobe gets loose and gets his hand on the quarterback. Stroud looking downfield, kind of slides to his side, lets the football, gets loose, and Ernest Jones makes a play. The part that stressed me out about that is that because both corners go, you have linebackers who got to cover a third of the field, and your middle linebacker has to cover the middle third. It stresses a defense out, but when you do it unexpectedly, this is what you get. He doesn't blitz a lot. He's still bottom third in the league, Mike McDonald, when it comes to blitzing the quarterback, but I saw this. It got me hyped and excited.
Second down. Who's been the comeback player of the year so far for the Seahawks?
Chinna Nwosu. He's playing the 4th most snaps when it comes to linebacker, yet he leads the team in sacks with 5 through 7 games. In 2024, he had 6 sacks through 6 games, didn't finish the season. 23, 4 sacks through 6 games, didn't finish the season. And 2022, 3 sacks through 7 games, and I finished the season with 9.5. He's right on schedule. If he continues to play like this and can stay healthy, knock on wood, my man can have himself a Pro Bowl type of season. D-Log is getting a lot of focus, as he should. Murphy, Williams. It's fun that we're talking about defensive linemen in this offense, or excuse me, defense, more than we're talking about the edge rushers and the secondary. All that means is that eventually the secondary and the edge rushers are going to eat even more. But Uchenna Nwosu leads the team in sacks. He's an emotional leader out there. I love to see him flying around and making plays. This team really needs this.
Third down. What's a stat about K9 that doesn't seem real?
He's tied for the most explosive runs in the NFL right now.
You're right, that doesn't seem real.
No one would think that. He's tied for the most explosive runs with 5 of them things. You have some guys in front of him who have outrushed him for about 100 yards here, 150 yards there. He's still in the mix. He's like 14th or something when it comes to total rushing yards as a running back. Last week, we saw Zach Charbonnet get the bulk of the carries. Maybe that's just a game plan type of thing, a running style type of thing. But he is still an explosive running back. If they can keep this 1-2 combo up and keep these guys nice and healthy and have Zach Charbonnet do some dirty work, have K9 be the explosive running back that he is, I like this approach. Individually, they might not like it because they want stats. They want the ball. I get that. But in the long run, this is what is best for this football team. And K9 is still showing that he can be one of the more explosive running backs in the game.
Mike McDonald on Tuesday told Brock and Salk he felt like while they still want to grow in the run game, that they took some steps forward. Literally, figuratively, what have you. Did you see that? Did you see steps forward with the run on Monday?
Every week I see it.
Okay.
Every week I see it. It ain't pretty. It ain't perfect. It's gonna be grimy. It's gonna be dirty. Big Ray was talking about that during our pregame show. Was that the run game ain't always pretty. A lot of people see those big holes that a Derrick Henry can run through from last year every now and then. Oh, it's beautiful. When it all works out, it is beautiful. But there's going to be guys loose. There's going to be running backs having to make moves. There's going to be linemen pick up another lineman slack. It ain't always as pretty as a wide open receiver going across the middle.
Fourth down. The defense is getting a lot of well-deserved love for their pressure rates, quarterback hits, and sacks. What else should they be getting love for?
TFLs. 41 of those things, fourth most in the NFL. DeMarcus Lawrence leads the team with 6, and he ranks 18th. So they're fourth in the league, and the guy who's getting the most TFLs has 6 and ranks 18th. You would think that he would have like 10 and be in the top 5. But what that says is that you're getting TFLs from a lot of places. Drake has 5, linebacker spot. Kobe has 4, safety. Murphy has 4, D-line. Ernest has 3, middle linebacker. Nwosu has 3, edge. Williams has 3, middle. Amori has 3, nickel. Tyrese has 2, linebacker. It's a group project with this defense. We talked about the corners blitzing, TFLs. You're getting TFLs from your linebackers, your safeties, your D-line. This defense is moving in the right direction. I did this Make It Make Sense I do after every game. And I was talking about the offense for 2 points and talked about the defense for 3. And someone commented underneath it was like, yeah, but the defense played great. And I go, you're right. I should have gave the defense more love in that game.
So now you're
so now I'm going back.
Up.
Yeah, I'm making it right. I'm making it right. But go check it out. They're getting TFLs from everywhere. I love it.
Pretty NFL heavy as we head into our noon hour. Fox Sports NFC West reporter Eric Williams is going to join us. We're going to take a look around the NFL coming up at 12:30. At 11:45, about 20 minutes from now, the Seahawks are off to a stellar start, but they must fix these 2 stats. Before we get to that, coming up next, a controversial decision at a local high school made headlines yesterday, and we are happy to see common sense has prevailed. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the Hawks Player Spotlight.
Tight end A.J. Barner is with us. How are you, man?
Doing well. It's good to be on here.
Brought to you by Three Tree Roofing.
The rookie on this O-line, Gray Zabel, is with us.
Sam is an elite quarterback.
Going deep with a different Hawks player every day at 3:30 with Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports.
Every time he walks into the huddle, we know we got a chance for a big play.
Nick Emanwari is with us.
I felt good physically going into the game.
Catch up on every Hawks Spotlight on Seattle Sports on YouTube and the Seattle Sports app.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with 0 investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com. Looking for a high school that nurtures both the mind and spirit? Archbishop Murphy High School is where academic excellence meets faith-based education. With a 100% graduation rate and a college prep program designed to challenge and inspire, our students are prepared for whatever the future holds. But it's more than just academics. Archbishop Murphy's robust athletics, arts, and co-curricular activities ensure that every student finds their passion and thrives. Archbishop Murphy High School believes in educating the whole person. That's why we offer a vibrant campus life where students grow not only academically, but also spiritually, socially, and physically. Don't just take our word for it. See it for yourself. Schedule a visit and discover how Archbishop Murphy High School can help your students succeed. Visit am-hs.org. IRG Physical and Hand Therapy proudly supports Archbishop Murphy High School, where your story begins. am-hs.org.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal, book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying... just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
Want more Seahawks content? Join me, G. Scott, on The Reset. New episodes of the podcast every Monday and Thursday on YouTube or on the Seattle Sports app.
The birth of the American supercar is roaring into LeMay, America's Car Museum, starting October 25th. Curated by racing icon Steve Saleen, this electrifying exhibition showcases the evolution of American speed, style, and engineering, featuring icons like Hennessy, Shelby, Zinger, and more. From raw horsepower to groundbreaking design, this is the ultimate tribute to performance. Don't miss the birth of the American supercar, opening October 25th at LeMay, America's Car Museum. Visit americascarmuseum.org to learn more.
At Bible Law Group, we understand when you've got legal problems so biblical, not even an Etsy witch can turn your court case around. With James Bible and his team by your side, don't panic when your ark is lost in divorce or when a whale swallows your defense attorney. At Bible Law Group, we've secured over $40 million in settlements for our clients, and we're ready to fight for you. When your legal problems hit biblical proportions, contact Bible Law Group and let our talented team of lawyers get to work, no matter the problem. Find us at BibleLawGroup.com.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see trending wherever you're looking online. This one was definitely trending yesterday, and now common sense has prevailed. Skyline head football coach Peyton Pallor has been reinstated by the Issaquah School District. Here's the district's statement. On that reinstatement, they said following the Issaquah School District's review of recent allegations and expectations. As a reminder, the allegation was not playing the right players.
You're not playing my son.
I think that was officially what it might have been called.
Come on, man.
Okay, so after reviewing the allegations and expectations while they are addressed, Skyline High School head football coach Peyton Pallor has been reinstated to his coaching duties. Student and staff safety remain the district's top priority, and all allegations deserve a thorough review to maintain consistency and ensure compliance with district regulations. They go on to say that Pallor and his staff are 100% focused on ensuring a safe, positive experience for student athletes as they prepare for this Friday's game.
They did the right thing. And I understand, too, that Skyline has to go through some sort of process if they are being brought with information, allegations, or whatnot. You can't ignore it. I understand that. But if you went on Instagram, X, and all that good stuff, and you were following the situation, there were so many people who came out and supported Peyton. Because
the
they know,
entire staff.
Yeah, they know what type of person he is. They know how he moves with integrity. No, they got it right. It's just unfortunate that you felt like they had to be threatened. And maybe Skyline was never going to do this, but they had to respect the allegations and do their own investigation. But I knew it was bogus from the jump. As soon as I heard it, I knew it was bogus. And then I do my own investigating, talking to people, and they're like, no, they're tripping. And when your whole coaching staff is threatening to walk away, and you have a team that's 6-2, that I think just won their league, was going to the playoffs, you know that it's real. So good on Skyline for getting this right. I'm happy for Peyton.
Yeah, obviously they have to make sure, like, okay, if you're complaining that players are being played for the wrong reasons, we have to look into favoritism, or, you know, are people, is there like a pay-for-play thing going on? Like, they're investigating to see, like, okay, well, what's actually happening here? They clearly came down to, oh, you're upset that you weren't starting or were asked not to start for a moment, or maybe there was, exactly, that there was just something happening there and you're mad about it. That's all this is. Yeah, come on back.
Yeah.
We're not going to continue exploring this. So I think that's good news.
Yeah, great news. Go Cougs.
Next up, Michael Jordan shared a funny story on the NBA on NBC's pregame show about the last time he picked up a basketball.
Do you ever pick up a ball and just shoot?
I haven't picked up a ball in years.
No, come on. Just like walk past. There's got to be a hoop somewhere at your place.
You don't see a hoop anywhere around here, right?
I don't. But seriously, the last time you picked up a basketball and shot it?
I was at the Ryder Cup, and I rented a house from the owner.
Sure.
He came over to do pictures. He had grandkids, and I was meet and greet and thank him for allowing me to stay in the house. And he had a basketball court. He says, "I want you to shoot one free throw." I said, "Really?" Now, I already paid for the house. It's not like they got to see me. So when I stepped up to shoot the free throw, it's the most nervous I've been in years.
Stop it.
In years.
Stop it. Come on.
And reason being is those kids heard the stories from the parents about what I did 30 years ago. So their expectation is 30 years prior, and I haven't touched the basketball.
I hope you switched it.
Absolutely. I got the most gratifying, that made my whole week, is that I was able to please that kid, not knowing if I could.
I love the pressure of just being, this is Michael Jordan. And it's Michael Jordan going, oh, God, I've been in NBA finals over and over and over again, and suddenly I have to perform in front of these children.
The GOAT. I remember growing up watching Michael Jordan play and thinking every time he shot a free throw, it was going in.
Yeah,
There's no
obviously.
doubt. I don't remember him missing a free throw.
He never did.
That's how good he was. And for him to be in that moment, like, all right, pull it together. I like that. That makes him more human, because for people who have followed Michael Jordan and who watch him, he's like a god. He's Jordan.
Yeah.
You know, on the court, he's done no wrong. So for him to feel that makes him more of a human.
I saw somebody say that Jordan probably put like $500,000 on that shot because he's always making bets. They're like, that's probably why he was more nervous. He's just, I can't lose this $1 million.
I can't lose this money.
It is funny though to hear like obviously the greatest like athlete of all time, or definitely in the conversation for greatest athlete of all time, say that he's nervous to do the one task that he did over and over and over again for as many years as he did. Like
that he did with his eyes closed several times.
Right. It makes me wonder, like, especially when athletes are out of the sport that they're playing, it's like, do you ever just go, like, well, we know Ichiro goes to the batting cage, but does Ken Griffey Jr. ever take hacks in the batting cage anymore?
I always wonder what it's like for, like, if I am by myself, never am I going to shoot a basketball or do anything with you guys watching me because you'll make fun of me.
When was the last time you swam laps?
Years.
Yeah.
Oh, now it would tire me out so much. And it's like, I used to swim for 2 hours. That would be your workout, 2 or 3 hours in the pool.
I mean, in high school, we would go straight from like lunch, slamming a slice of pizza and chugging some chocolate milk to go running a mile.
I mean, I was still swimming in college. I wasn't like part of a college team, but that was how I got, you know what I mean? You're so used to it. I still love the smell of chlorine. I love the smell of chlorine on a wet, like stony floor outside the pool. I love that smell. But I was wondering, I've never been an elite athlete in my entire life, and I wonder what it would be like to be so incredibly good at something and then have physical limitations set in, and just what your relationship is like with that sport. You understand it. Like, think about it from, like, let's say Griffey's point of view. You understand this sport better than so many people, 99.9% of people. You were able to do what 99% of people can't, and you did it not with ease, but it came to you in a way that it couldn't to so many others. And then your body had limitations and you couldn't do those things. So that part of your identity starts to change. Does your identity and your relation with the sport itself change? Do you see it differently? Does it lose romanticism or does it gain some? Is it painful at all to think about certain aspects of it, or do you have a new appreciation? It's just a fascinating relationship that I don't understand. And I wonder what it's like for Michael Jordan. We're laughing about this story that's objectively funny. But, like, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird to hear Jordan say, no, I don't play. I don't play.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
it's kind of interesting.
For me, for football, I will not run a route. I'm not running a route. I will not do it. I'll stand there and catch a football. And even then, if I'm somewhere like at a Coug event and someone says, "Hey, bum, catch," I'm like, "You better catch this so clean. There better be no bobble."
Right, because
I'm on air saying I have the greatest hands of all time.
Yeah.
If this ain't smooth, they laughing at me. So I feel them in that sense. You better catch it clean.
The pressure's on. In an interview with the Today Show, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says WNBA players deserve pay increases during their next CBA negotiations.
Here, WNBA, as you know, they're calling for, players in the WNBA are calling for more money. They 9%, I believe, accordingly. They get 9% of total revenue compared to roughly 50% of the revenue of NBA players. Should they be getting a larger share of the revenue in the WNBA?
Yes. I mean, I think the share isn't the right way to look at it because there's so much more revenue in the NBA. I think you should look at it in absolute numbers in terms of what they're making, and they are going to get a big increase in this cycle of collective bargaining, and they deserve it.
A, good for them, and they do deserve it. And B, can I just say how often the entire argument about WNBA players wanting more is completely misrepresented, and I think intentionally by people online.
In what way?
Like people trying to be like, they simplify it into, you're not going to get paid as much as NBA players. That's not at all what the conversation is.
No, they just want a bigger share, and it should be increased. If the revenue increases, their share should increase. That's a simple business.
Well, and why should it make anyone mad?
Yeah. I don't know. If you're mad about that, that's a personal issue. You got some things you got to deal with internally.
Yeah, you got to work some stuff out.
Yeah, but no, I think, no, if they're making more money, they should get more money. It's as simple as that. I have employees. We have a good year. You know what? I'm handing out checks. Be like, hey, good year. We did it.
Yeah, I think, it's just absolutely something that's deserved, and I don't know, good for them. I was hoping Adam Silver would also have some stuff to say about expansion. But But apparently we are still in wait-and-see mode with so much of that. All right, we are going back-to-back-to-back NFL here. We're getting back to the Mariners at 12:45. At 1, talking college football, Washington Wednesday with Yogi Roth. Before we get to that, though, taking a look around the NFL at 12:30, we got some injury updates, very important, especially for some fantasy football owners. Before we get to that, Fox Sports NFC West reporter Eric Williams joining us at noon. And coming up next, the Seahawks are off to a stellar 5-2 start, but to separate themselves from a pack of 6 5-2 NFC teams, they need to fix these 2 stats.
They restored hope to the loyal, longtime fans.
The Mariners will play in October.
And showed a new generation what October baseball looks like.
Get out the right, bread and mustard, Grandma. It is grand salami time. Hey, Eugenio Suarez.
The next season will hang a new banner.
The Seattle Mariners are champions in the American League West.
Congrats on a great run, boys, from your proud partners at Seattle Sports.
You're losing your hair, and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level, on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. In the past 5 years, we've seen thousands of men at our clinics. Most guys tell us the same story, that in their early 50s, it's not that they couldn't function, they just needed help. They started taking Viagra, and it worked great at first. But after a few years, it stopped working. The problem is that their arteries had become more restricted since they started taking it, because Viagra does not unclog arteries. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we use acoustic wave therapy to target the real problem. We break down plaque and clear up the arteries so blood can flow like it did in your 20s. This restores function. And guys, listen to this. You won't have to take a pill anymore. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit SUPlinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Touchdown! Seahawks! Ken Walker III!
Get everything Seahawks at seattlesports.com.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. It's Mike Salk here. You can book now for an unforgettable experience. Let's talk about Hawks Peak. It is the place to be for game days this football season. With over 66 TVs, indoor-outdoor concept, the deck is covered and it's heated as well. And the food, oh man, it was excellent. All with breathtaking views of the Cascades and the Snoqualmie Valley. Yep, you can go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Temperatures are dropping, but you don't have to settle for a chilly home this winter. Keep cozy and safe with energy-saving products during Washington Energy's home heating sale on now. Upgrading your home is as easy as $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 off. Take $1,000 off furnaces, fireplaces, and water heaters. $2,000 off high-efficiency heat pump systems. And $3,000 off whole home generators and ductless mini splits, plus free financing. Washington Energy Services, your expert resource for affordable home comfort. Call for a free estimate.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy
weekdays 10 to 2.
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The Seahawks are 5-2, which is great news. I don't know that it's bad news, but it's certainly interesting that 6 teams in the NFC are 5-2 right now. So the theme of the second half is not only going to be about looking in a mirror, reflecting on the things that you can do to better your own team, but also finding a way quickly to separate yourself from the rest of that crowd. 2 of those teams are in your own division. So I've got 2 stats here, Bump, that were not great. They would have been maybe the only C or below grade for the Seahawks in the first 7 games of the season. So we're going to talk about them and figure out what they can do to fix them. I'm going to start with one that you've already mentioned today, and that being the run game. While the Seahawks, as you've noted, run the ball plenty, the percentage of run-pass plays, I think, is second only to Philadelphia. They are something like, 6th or 7th in total carries per game or average carries per game. They're not super effective. I thought it was very interesting that you pointed out Ken Walker has so many explosive runs, considering that this is a team that is averaging the 3rd fewest rushing attempts per carry.
Yeah, it's not.
Yards per carry.
Let me put it out there. 5 explosive runs. It's still top of the league.
Yeah.
Right? So that just tells you that how tough it is to get those yards. But yeah, it's the run game is effective in a different way because they're not shying away from it. Teams are coming in here, and I think initially teams are like, all right, Sam Darnold has to beat us. So we're going to load the box. We're going to really emphasize stopping the run, and they've done that. And because Kubiak hasn't shied away from it, you're going to line up in these formations with 2 tight ends and a running back, with 2 running backs, 1 tight end, and the defenses have to match up. You have to match up. If you're going to have 2 running backs in the backfield and a tight end, and you come out in your small nickel, you're probably going to get ran all over, right? You got to come out in your base defense and try to match up. So what they've shown is the patience with that run game, but they haven't had the success that we thought they were going to have. The success is coming in the pass game because of their stubbornness to the run. Yards before contact, the Hawks are bottom third of the league, 2.2. All right, Baltimore Ravens up there at 3.2 yards before contact. All right, yards after contact, we're looking at the Hawks around the middle of the pack at 302. You got the Washington Commanders at top with 500, and the Titans at 253. Everything about the run game says that it's mediocre. It's all right. It ain't nothing special. And if they want to be even more dynamic, that's something that they have to fix. There's always, I would say, when I watch film, 1 out of every 3 run plays has a lineman that either doesn't do his job or does someone else's job, right? It doesn't look right. And all I can do is kind of speculate what I think his job is. I know what outside zone is supposed to look like. I know what inside. I know what trap and counter and all that stuff. And there might be tweaks where a coach is coaching this guy to do something else. But for the most part, your assignments are your assignments. So I think once they can clean it up assignment-wise more consistently, maybe you see more explosive runs.
One thing that I will add on to this before we get to our second stat is that in terms of EPA per play, so expected points added per play, the likelihood that that play results in a drive that ends with points, the Seahawks have a negative number. It's negative point like 0.06 or something for rushes. Now, that's one of the worst in the league. Also bad, Rams and 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
So all you need to know about this is that the Seahawks would like to be more effective running the ball, but that the Rams and 49ers would too.
Yeah.
That all three teams are surprisingly fantastic at passing this year, and their passing offenses have been much more efficient. So in the same boat. Let's go to another one, a category where you are unfortunately not in the same boat and kind of standing alone with one other team, the Jets. The Seahawks are tied with the Jets for the most fumbles given away. 7 times they have fumbled this year and lost those fumbles. They're also the only defense that has yet to recover a fumble from an opposing offense. Colin Cowherd said that Monday night was absolutely awful and then pointed to those mistakes.
That was awful. Sam Darnold was inconsistent. 4 total giveaways, 12 penalties. They called a dumb trick play. Cooper Kupp throwing the ball. The good news, their defensive line, Seattle defensive line for 3.5 hours, man-to-man dominated Houston. I feel bad for C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud sits in the pocket, throws a beautiful ball. He's under total duress. They can't get the offensive line right, and Seattle's defensive front dominated. But Seattle was up 15 points at home in the fourth quarter, and what followed was a punt, a fumble, an interception, and a punt. So you know what Seattle's trying to do. They lead the NFL in rush attempts. They want to be a rush and a play-action pass team. But they also lead the NFL in giveaways. Last night they had 4, and they are just too mistake-prone at this point to be an excellent team. They're a good team, but they should have won last night 33-6.
What do you think?
There are some valid points. The fumble is an issue. It's an issue. I think Jason has a few. Obviously, Sam Darnold has a couple as well. Especially if you're going to run the football like that, it's going to happen, right? You have to clean that up. I agree 100% with that. I also think that you went up against a pretty good defense too, right? 12 points per game. Houston has been giving up. They're solid. I'm not ready to call them a great team yet. I think they're a very good team with potential to be a great team, and you do have to clean some of that stuff up. I also think that it's Monday Night Football. It's probably the first full game Cowherd has watched, and it was probably the worst performance by this offense so far as just being efficient. So I'm not going to take that one game and say, this is who they are. I'm going to look at all the other games as well and not ignore that game. But that's why I'm going to form my opinion. These national dudes, and he has a job for a reason. He's good at what he does. They're not diving deep into the Seahawks like that. You're looking at a Monday night game where it looked a little sloppy, and to you, that's who they are. Let me remind you that Sam Darnold is one of the more accurate quarterbacks in the game. He doesn't typically turn the football over. Fumbles are a problem. We have to address that. They do take the football away. There are so many things that they've done more consistently than on that Monday that shapes my opinion of them. So I try to figure out where he's coming from, and I think that's where it is. He watched one full game because it was on a Monday night. He had nothing else to do, and he formed an opinion.
Well, and you pointed they are taking the ball away. It's important to separate takeaways up into interceptions and fumbles. The defense hasn't recovered a fumble. They are tied for 4th in interceptions. So, like you said.
Tied for 4th in sacks.
Sam Darnold is not throwing.
Second when it comes to pressure.
Exactly. This defense has been very good. Sam Darnold is not making a ton of mistakes and throwing a ton of interceptions.
Yeah, the best receiver in the game.
But they are turning the ball over with fumbles, and they're not jumping on those fumbles. And some of that's luck. Some of that is turnover luck. The Buccaneers, for instance, have been really fortunate with some of that leading it to this point in the season. You're both 5-2.
Yeah.
So
the one fumble they recovered got called back because there's a penalty. Right. It's like it's facts. They need to recover those dang fumbles. They need to take care of the football, and that will bite you in the butt later on. But his opinion is so strong on this team off of one game that it's just not true.
You're in a good spot to be like, okay, if you can get between 4 and 5 yards per carry, which would be absolutely amazing, and cut down on fumbles, you're a great NFC team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good spot to be in 7 weeks into the season. We're sticking with the NFC, looking at the division with Eric Williams next.
Wyman and Bob.
It's going to take a bit for this team, I think, to get past this moment.
Every afternoon at 2.
You know, to be that close, and you were just steps away, and you came up short. Some of them sat in that dugout and watched the Jays out there celebrating, and they're going to use that as fuel.
You're never going to be happy unless you win the last game, right?
Yeah, but somebody's always going home disappointed, and hopefully it's the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that'll be easy to root for the Dodgers.
Plus, they've got my favorite non-Mariner, Mookie.
That's right, Mookie.
Love Mookie.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Lowe's knows pros want more. Join My Lowe's Pro Rewards for free to get $20 off your first qualifying purchase of $100 or more just for signing up. Plus, enjoy free standard shipping and more ways to save on your next job. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer valid for new members only. Not valid with any other discount. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/pro loyalty for details. Subject to change.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign. And so I saw the accident coming and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Dave Wyman here, and after 20 years of living in our home, our window seals started breaking. That's when I called Harley Exteriors. They're huge fans of our teams and regular listeners at the station, but what really sold me was their Olympic Series windows, built right here in Washington, designed for Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. They're beautiful windows that last up to 60 years, and they'll help with noise, too. Harley Exteriors knows you've been spending a ton on playoff tickets, so they have a special deal for Seattle sports listeners. No interest and no payments for an entire year. Also, buy one window and get the second one 40% off, and take another $200 off your entire project. They're the friendliest team and so easy to work with. You call the number and the person on the other line asks, "How can I make you smile today?" Just give them a ring and tell them you heard our ad. Call 833-HARLEY. That's 833-HARLEY, or go to HarleyExteriors.com.
Hey, it's John Curley with some great news. If your home's heating or cooling is uneven, noisy, or expensive, listen up. The Quilt Ductless Heat Pump System from Home Comfort Lines is changing the game. It gives you room-by-room control and next-gen efficiency, so you're only heating where you need it. That means real comfort and real savings, and every Quilt system qualifies for max tax credits. Trusted for 50 years. Call the comfort people today at HomeComfortAlliance.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Per ESPN, the struggling Baltimore Ravens got good news today. Lamar Jackson returned to practice for the first time since injuring his hamstring nearly a month ago. Been 24 days now. He remains limited in practice for right now behind Huntley. The Ravens are hosting the Bears Sunday in the 10 a.m. window. Then they'll follow that one up with a Thursday night game against the Dolphins on October 30th.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. It is a tight race in the NFC West. Let's bring on Fox Sports NFC West reporter Eric Williams on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook hotline. And when I say a tight race, I mean the Rams, 49ers, and Seahawks are 5-2 right now. Eric, we knew that this would be a tough division. Did you expect that these three teams would be quite this close at Week 7?
Yeah, I mean, before the season started, I said this was the best division in the NFL. I still believe that. I expected all three of these teams. I thought Arizona would be there as well, to be honest, to kind of battle it out throughout the year. And obviously injuries would play a role of where these teams, eventually finish. But yes, certainly this is kind of what I expected going into it.
What do you make of the running situation here in Seattle? I'm okay with it, Eric, honestly, because it's still affecting the game, right? Guys are getting open because defense has got to commit guys to the box, the play action and all that. How do you assess the run game?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it still allows them to do play action because you have to respect what they can do in the running game. I did think that they would be a little bit more expective in terms of creating explosive plays and maybe just overall stats in terms of their ability to maybe run the ball a little bit more consistently. But again, it's Game 7. Still have a lot of games left in terms of their ability to continue to work on it and get better and get more efficient. So, overall, I think it's been solid.
Perhaps no team has been quite as unlucky with injuries as have the 49ers in some of these seasons. And that looked for a minute like it would continue this year, and yet they've stayed afloat. Eric, to what do you attribute that? Is it a schedule? Is it Shanahan's brilliance? What is it?
Yeah, I think it's coaching. I think out of the four teams in the NFC West, I think Shanahan and the rest of his coaching staff have done the best job in terms of getting their teams ready week in and week out. You look at what they've done defensively without Fred Warner and without Nick Bosa. They're two best defensive players. They've still been able to kind of patch things together and still, be effective on that side of the football. And then offensively, Mac Jones and how he's played, 4-1 record, playing without their starter and Purdy. In terms of his ability to make plays without all their playmakers there offensively, has been impressive. To me, if we're going to look at the division as a whole, I still feel like the Rams are the team to beat, and I feel like the Seahawks are number 2 and the Niners are number 3. I think the Rams have the best offense. I think the Seahawks have the best defense. And like I said previously, I think the Niners have done the best coaching job. But if we're to project out throughout the year, I feel like the Seahawks have a chance to be right there with the Rams at the end. I feel like the Niners just have too many injuries to overcome, throughout the duration of the season to be there at the end competing with those other two teams.
And then I just wanted to get a quick injury update. I apologize if this has already been announced, but what's the latest on Puka Nacua?
It's bye week, so we'll see what happens when they come back from bye week and if he's able to play. So right now, obviously, he didn't play against Jacksonville. He'll get an extra week to heal up, and then we'll see, once they come back and they kind of get all the players, get him going if he's able to practice for the next week.
This defense, Stacy just broke it down real nice what this defense is, right? It's kind of weird because they get after the quarterback, they sack the quarterback, but they're not recovering any fumbles. And what flaws do you see in this defense? They get interceptions. Is it just that they're not creating more turnovers in the fumble game? If you had to nitpick with this defense, what are you looking at?
If I was to nitpick the defense, I would point to the secondary, playmakers in the back end defensively that are going to take away the football more consistently. And if they do face the top receivers in the league, how are they going to match up? Like, who's going to be the person that takes that top receiver? Like, if you're playing against Jamar Chase, who are you going to stick over there opposite of him? And then how are you going to match up? Are you going to bracket him? What kind of coverage are you going to do to take that person away? I think that would be the one thing I would point to. And then we'll see if they're able to do anything, in the next couple of weeks in terms of the trade deadline to bring in playmakers to beef up, the secondary. Obviously, they're going to get guys back, from injury, and that's going to help. But I still feel like they need one more guy back there.
Yeah. I apologize, Eric, because this might necessitate a longer answer because it's gonna need to be a look at these three teams. But one thing that's fascinating to me, and I want to ask you about it specifically because I don't know what's going on with the 49ers and Rams. One thing that's fascinating to me about the Seahawks, 49ers, and Rams is that all three teams have been so good with the pass, particularly the Rams and Seahawks with explosive pass plays and really EPA per play is fantastic for both quarterbacks. And then EPA per play has been negative for all three teams with the run, and they're all struggling. And God, Christian McCaffrey is like a top leading receiver right now. It's just wild. So we've been talking about what we think is going on with Seattle's run, and no surprise, we're looking at the offensive line. What's going on with San Francisco and the Rams?
Same. I mean, they're not good up front. I mean, so when you're not good up front, it's hard to assert your will against the other team and carve out running lanes consistently. And so when teams don't have that ability to do that, they use a short passing game as a way to get around the fact that you just can't go and push, people down the field and run the football. I just watched the Colts against the Chargers last week, and obviously they had the best running back in the game in Jonathan Taylor. They have one of the best offensive lines in the game and with Quentin Nelson kind of leading them. And they can lean on defenses and, get people moving in order to create those running lanes so, Taylor can get to the second level consistently. So I would say it's the same issue with those other two teams that the Seahawks are having where they're just not getting a consistent push up front.
How do the 49ers overcome what's going on with them? You lose two of your best defensive players, right, Nick Bosa and Fred. But something tells me they're just so well coached. And let me add another question to that. Your thoughts on Mac Jones and the way he's been playing?
Who?
Mac Jones.
I had to get that in there, right?
Glad you did.
That was a banger back in the day.
Yes, it was.
Well, a couple of things with the Niners. I think you have to give them credit for drafting well, having these injuries and then having guys that maybe they took on day 2 or day 3 to come in and coaching them up to the point where they could go out there and produce, and there's not much of a drop-off. So I think it's a combination of those two things. I kind of compare it to, when I covered the Seahawks early on when Pete was there, and you had guys like Maxwell come in, and the play didn't drop off because they drafted guys that fit schematically what they wanted to do, and they had the athletic profiles to go in and continue to play. Nate Thurman was another guy. Deshaun Shedd was another guy. So they had all these secondary guys, second, third string players. So when they did have guys that were injured, like Marcus Trufant or maybe Sherman was injured, they had other guys that could come in and fill those roles, and they understood schematically how they fit, and they would just go in and play at a similar level. So it's no surprise that Salah's there, and obviously Salah coached in Seattle. So they really understand their defense, how it works, and then profiling athletes that kind of match what they want to do defensively, coaching them up, and then giving them a couple things that they do well and just go out there and let them play.
Hey, we started the interview by asking you about the 3 NFC West teams that are 5-2. There are 6 teams in the NFC right now sitting at 5-2 with the 49ers, Seahawks and Rams, obviously, and then the Eagles, Bucks, and Lions. Is there a team among that pool of 6 that you think, God, I just think this team will separate itself pretty quickly here in the second half?
Yeah, I think it's the Lions. I think out of those 3 teams, I think with what they can do on offense, and their ability to score points, and Goff leading them, and then defensively that they're making plays on the defense side of the football. And your offense is so good that allows your defense to take chances. I think Hutchinson's kind of getting back to where he was 2 years ago, coming off of that knee injury. You worry about other injuries, particularly to their secondary. But I think if I was to pick one of those 3 teams, it would be the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions are tough, man. I know this is kind of a conference match. I just want to get your opinion on it. What did you think of the Giants, man? I mean, Jackson Dart and Scatterboo got something going on over there. They did trick it off in the fourth quarter, but they got a good thing going. What do you think of the Giants?
Yeah, I like how they look, in terms of that being the foundation of how they want to play with Scatterboo, along with Tyrone Tracy. I mean, I think it's kind of a two-headed monster there at running back. You like the playmaking ability that Dart offers. They don't have neighbors, so when you add that in terms of his ability to be a threat on the perimeter, they're going to be dangerous offensively. Defensively, again, one of the best defensive lines in the league, so they can create pressure. A couple of questions, obviously. Dart's got to get down. Like he's not going to make it. Taking those hits like that. Like this isn't the SEC. There's real dudes out there trying to smack you. So somebody needs to get in his ear and let him know that he needs to start sliding. So that would be number one. And then Daboll, I mean, he basically cost them a game. So if he wants to be the guy there for the long haul and be coaching these guys up, he's got to do a better job in terms of game management. There's no way in the NFL that you could lose a game like that and expect to be a team that ultimately is going to play in the postseason.
To start the year, I thought, well, maybe Matthew Stafford and Baker Mayfield will be vying back and forth for some MVP consideration. And then here comes Dak Prescott and the Cowboys looking like one of the best, if not the best offenses right now in football. But the defense, no surprise to that, Micah Parsons has just struggled. Again, heading outside of the division for this one, Eric. But they're a fascinating team to me because it's like, okay, either the defense maybe rights itself just a little bit and is average, and then this team is maybe a powerhouse, or they continue to fail. How do you see this potentially going, and do you think maybe the Cowboys should make a move at the deadline?
Yes, they definitely should make a move and try to get a pass rusher so that the defense can at least be average in terms of their ability to get after the quarterback. There's talk out there that Matt Crosby could be a person they could go after. The Raiders, of course, said they're not going to trade him. They shouldn't trade Matt Crosby. They should definitely keep him. But they need to get somebody like that, whether it's Trey Hendrickson or Bradley Chubb with the Dolphins, to give them a little bit more juice coming off the edge and to kind of complement what they can do on offense. Because basically on offense, they're similar to Joe Burrow and the Bengals last year, where they can score. They're going to put points on the board, but can the defense and maybe can they be a little bit opportunistic and create some turnovers to give the ball back to the offense? It's going to be an interesting game because I think they go to Denver this weekend, and Denver plays pretty good defense. But I think there really isn't a dominant defense in the league right now. Offense can score against pretty much anybody, and so I do feel like the Cowboys are going to put up enough points, but is it going to be enough?
Man, I'm so disappointed in what's happening with the Commanders because you come off of that great season, get to the conference finals, Daniels banged up, McLaurin banged up. Do you see them finding a way to get back into the playoff mix, or do you think that they have to sit this one out and just try to survive?
Unfortunately, I do not, which is disappointing because they were my Super Bowl pick out of the NFC. So I would like for them to find a way, but I have to be honest. And, you talk to people around the league, talking to GMs and scouts. That was one of the things with Daniels is can he hold up in terms of his durability because of his slight frame and the way that he plays with running the football so much. And you've seen that right now. The answer is no. Knee injury early, hamstring now. Marcus Mariota has to play. And obviously Marcus can do some of the things that Jaden can do, but not as well. That's why he's the backup. Their top three receivers missed last week's game, so the offense is different, in terms of them being explosive. I like the running back that they got, the rookie Bill, but he's put the ball on the ground a couple times, so you have issues there in terms of ball security. And then the defense is solid but older, so it's going to be an uphill climb for them to jump the Cowboys and the Eagles in that division.
Hey, I've got kind of a weird question, but I'll give you the context for it. Bump and I have been talking all week, yesterday and today, about the Mariners' heartbreaking loss in Game 7 of the ALCS. And we were both talking about how teams that get to a new height and then suffer heartbreak kind of fight their way back. And I covered a Seahawks locker room. My first year was after Super Bowl 49. And so in just comparing notes with reporters who were there in 2012 and 13, they were like, oh, this locker room's a little fractured. And they've never been back. And so that's my experience was of observing a locker room where they didn't quite fight their way back there, and lots of other factors at play. But you've overseen an NFC West where there's been a Rams team that went to a Super Bowl, lost in heartbreaking fashion, and then did fight their way back and win it, where you have the 49ers that have fought there over and over again a couple times. Is there, I know we're talking across sport here, but is there something that you see within like a culture from a head coach down that can fight its way back? Like, is there kind of a pattern with teams that are able to get back?
I think it's two things. I think it's belief. The team has to believe in the people that are leading them, whether it's management or it's the head coach or the manager, that they're going to continue to make the right moves on a macro level to give them an opportunity to get back into that situation so that they can get over whatever it was that they need to overcome to ultimately reach, the World Series or the Super Bowl. So I think it's belief. And then I think it's connectivity. I think that was one of the things that the Mariners had this year is the players seem to genuinely like each other and play for each other. And I think that was part of the reason for their success, obviously with the immense talent as well, along with that. And in the Seahawks, locker rooms that I covered, I feel like you had that connectivity. And as you mentioned, I think that was fractured, with the call at the 1 yard line and them not winning that game, and they weren't able to recover. I think in the case of the Rams, they had to go through some stuff, when they went to the Super Bowl initially, and change their personnel, to be honest, to get back and ultimately win it. So I think it's a little bit of both. It's belief that, we're heading the right direction for management. It's connectivity. And then obviously it's changing your personnel so that you can fix whatever it is that was broken so you can get back.
Fox Sports NFC West reporter Eric Williams. Eric, thank you so much.
Thanks, Eric.
Yep, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You too. Let's get to Headline Rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Headline Rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, Blue Jays manager John Schneider said even he was surprised to see Edward Bizzardo come in for Brian Wu in Game 7. What's the real headline?
If an opponent's ever pleasantly surprised, you might be making the wrong move. That's a good measure.
I could imagine him being in the dugout, having his right-hand man next to him, seeing Bizzardo go out there, he starts tapping like, you see this? You see this? No, Munoz, see this?
No.
Man, it's unfortunate. And John does a good job of keeping a poker face when he's in the dugout, too. Things would be great. They would be bad. He stays pretty cool. But no, just say another voice in the game that really just reiterates what I think a lot of people were feeling with that decision to bring in Bizzardo in that moment. It's unfortunate. Who knows what would have happened? Munoz could have got knocked up and knocked around, and things happen. But it's a shame we didn't see Munoz in Game 7.
Speaking of decisions being costly, I was thinking of that during Eric's answer when he said, to him, having covered multiple NFL teams that went to Super Bowls and either lost, went back and won, or never went back, that the two key principles were a trust in what the organization and your coach and your leaders are doing, and actually liking each other, playing for each other, a connectivity. I think the connectivity is still there. Like these are absolutely there. I think imperative to moving forward is players trusting, and I don't know that they don't. I'm not speaking based on anything I'm hearing, but it's key that, or it's clear that players trusting that the organization wants to get back, knows how to get back, knows the answers, is imperative. So I think that's going to be a theme that I'm personally watching moving forward. Good stuff from Eric.
Yeah, for sure.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, in a stark departure from his usual self, Russell Wilson took some big shots at Sean Payton, calling him classless and adding, I didn't realize you're still bounty hunting through the media 15 years later. What's the real headline?
This might be the most likable Russell Wilson's ever been.
For real. Clap back at him. Clap back at him in a way that it doesn't seem too out of character, but you're still surprised. And I felt like he almost had to, man, because Sean Payton is on national television. Anyone who watches football, who likes football, is listening to him and knows exactly who he's talking about. And it's like, why? Why even bring that up? Why not just praise the young man who almost beat you guys in that moment and take a shot at Russell Wilson? Forget that. So, Russell, I'm happy for you. You and CC got together and sent out a fire tweet. I'm happy he clapped back.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, Jets head coach Aaron Glenn says he knows who his team's quarterback will be for Week 8, but he's going to keep it a secret.
Ooh,
what's the real headline?
The only thing we do know ahead of this one is the Jets will lose. The Jets will lose.
Surprise, it's another loss.
Surprise. Surprise. Hope you're hungry for nothing.
For real, though.
So the thing is here, obviously, the seeming competitive advantage for not saying it, but also Tyrod Taylor reportedly, per ESPN, dealing with maybe a bit of a knee issue. So they might genuinely not know yet. They probably want to start Tyrod Taylor and don't know that he's going to play, so they don't want to say Justin Fields benched.
Justin Fields is like, he's hurt. Come on, man. Let me finish what I started.
What did you make of Woody Johnson talking about Justin Fields publicly? The owner of the team saying of his new head coach, I'm paraphrasing roughly here, but it's tough when you have a quarterback playing like that.
I mean, owners, just support your people. It's not your job to criticize unless you're Jerry Jones, owner / GM / head coach / whatever. I don't like the move, but it doesn't surprise me because it's the Jets. Have you ever been told a secret and then immediately told somebody like, "Hey, can you keep a secret?" Bam, go right to the homie and tell a secret. I wonder who's Glenn? Who's Glenn telling? Who is Glenn telling?
I had a family member who revealed that she was pregnant to a room of women who already knew because they were telling each other just constantly. I heard it through a fourth cousin of hey, you can't say anything. Don't say anything, but we have to do it for this reason. And it was all in not like a sneaky way, but just the way that rumors spread, and it's just a room full of people acting.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
So happy for you.
Congratulations. That's amazing. I saw someone post, I don't know, that if he were Justin Fields after that comment from Woody Johnson, he'd be like, I'm not playing.
No, you don't do that.
At that point, you're sacrificing.
You don't do that. You still want to be in this league, right?
Yes.
So you go out there, and if you're the starter, you go try to play your best. If you're the backup, you do what Russ is doing. Russ is on the sideline being the best back of all time. He's helping people up. He's patting them on the back. Russ is like, look, I'm going to be
going
here
in for a snap, overthrowing, leaving. You know what I mean? Just getting the job not done, but you're there. You're present.
He's doing what backups do.
Yeah, which is chill. Hang out. Top 5 job in sports, backup quarterback?
Easily.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough to swallow your pride if you were one time a franchise starter, right? If you were the dude. But otherwise,
but if you're Josh Johnson, who's had 14 backup jobs in his career,
saying.
Yeah.
He's set for life.
You're everyone's favorite person.
He's got commercials off of that.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I just saw one the other day.
You're everyone's favorite person. Ryan Fitzpatrick, you just go around.
Chase Daniel has he's with ESPN now.
Yep. Then you can go on get your own podcast when you're done. That's pretty solid.
Ain't bad.
I'd say that's a top 5 job in sports. Easily. Backup quarterback in the NFL. All right. Well, speaking of the NFL, this weekend, one star is out, another is back, and a third could be on the move. That's next.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passan with Brock and Salk.
If you are in the Mariners front office, what are you spending your offseason focusing on?
This feels like a beginning, not an end. I see this being the beginning of the best run in the history of this franchise. The sheer number of really good prospects that the Mariners have lead me to believe that they're going to be in this position again.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
In the Pacific Northwest, choose Star Rentals for construction equipment. With 18 locations, they deliver superior service and unmatched follow-through. Visit starrentals.com. Star Rentals, the preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
The birth of the American supercar is roaring into LeMay, America's Car Museum, starting October 25th. Curated by racing icon Steve Saleen, this electrifying exhibition showcases the evolution of American speed, style, and engineering, featuring icons like Hennessy, Shelby, Zinger, and more. From raw horsepower to groundbreaking design, this is the ultimate tribute to performance. Don't miss the birth of the American supercar, opening October 25th at LeMay, America's Car Museum. Visit americascarmuseum.org to learn more.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health. It's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
University Reprographics reminds parents 460,000 children are reported missing in our country every year. Please plan with your kids a safe, visible route to and from activities with at least one friend. Coach your kids to stay alert and be aware of their surroundings, and caution your children to never accept gifts or rides from strangers. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at University Reprographics. Family owned since 1973. Online at universityrepro.com.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months, or save up to $3,000 on a new roof today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
At Bible Law Group, our team reflects the same lessons learned by our founder, James Bible, while playing for legendary Husky coach Don James. Coach James always said it's amazing what gets done when nobody claims credit. That's the philosophy we carry into every case, because your victory is what matters at Bible Law Group. When your legal problems hit biblical levels and you feel like you're stuck in a lion's den of litigation, you need a legal team that won't back down. At Bible Law, we've secured over $40 million in settlements for our clients, and we're ready to fight for you. Find us online at BibleLawGroup.com.
Stacy Roth here from Seattle Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of. And then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, prescriptions. But imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate, noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle, yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target problem areas: waistline, face, neck, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. For your free consultation and $250 off, visit ProSculpt.com for powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men. It's ProSculpt.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, we are going to start with the Commanders, where quarterback Jaden Daniels, nursing a hamstring strain, has already been ruled out for, is it a Monday night game against the Chiefs? Monday against the Chiefs. So that's not good. It's going to be Marcus Mariota in his place, by the way.
Marcus got some game. I believe the last time he played, they won, right? They played a couple games, and they did okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not the same without Daniels, but Marcus Mariota can go down as one of the great backups of all time.
Speaking of backup quarterbacks that can make it work.
And he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm rooting for Marcus. Let's get
What's going on with the Commanders start? I'm glad you asked Eric about that.
What's going on with him? Injuries,
is
man.
it regression?
It's injuries.
Injuries.
As soon as McLaurin went down and then Austin Eckler tore his Achilles, it's tough out there.
All right. Well, they do have a chance to improve to 500. They're 3-4 right now when they take on the Kansas City Chiefs, though the Kansas City Chiefs want to continue their win streak. They want to improve to 5-3, sitting at 4-3 right now. Speaking of bouncing back, Kansas City doing just that.
Yeah, started off 0-2, then beat the Giants, beat the Ravens, lost to the Jags, but then beat. The big win was against the Lions, man. That let people know that they're for real, and then everyone's beat up on the Raiders.
Well, speaking of the Ravens, at 1-5 right now. Again, they have lost 4 in a row. They did get some good news this week. Lamar Jackson is back at practice. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury and has missed 24 days, but is now here. He was practicing in a limited fashion today at Ravens practice, still behind Tyler Huntley. TBD whether he's going to play. I have to imagine he does. The Ravens posted a photo of him at practice, presumably to be like, our guy's back.
Here's the good thing about their situation. Pittsburgh's 4-2, but their defense is suspect. All right? The Cincinnati Bengals are holding on with Joey Flacco, and the Browns have a rookie out there trying to do his thing. Technically, they are still in this. It's going to take a lot for them. They're going to need some help. But if you look at the condition of the AFC North, it ain't over yet, but they're going to have to turn some things around.
Yeah, I mean, they do have an opportunity here. So they are taking on the Bears in the 10 a.m. window on Sunday. Let's say that that's the game that Lamar is able to return. So you have a game against the Bears, which they're solid. They've had some good moments, some bad moments. 4-2 overall, though, so there's an opportunity. But then you get a game against the Miami Dolphins, who are 1-6 right now, and something tells me we'll be 1-7 when you face them, unless they're on a bye. I don't think they are, but you have an opportunity here to let Lamar get back into the swing of things, to build up those. Do I think that the Ravens are going to win a Super Bowl now? No, I don't. It's a little too late.
They were my pick.
They were everyone's pick, but they have a chance to improve on that 1-5 start with Lamar now back in some easier opponents.
Yeah, and I wouldn't call the Bears an easy opponent anymore. It's not going to be tough. It ain't going to be easy. They're somewhere in the middle. And you do get the Dolphins off a short week. They play It's going to be prime time.
I will give the Bears this. They've won 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Won 4 in a row. So,
hey, listen. I know they won 4 in a row, but.
Listen. Did I have that right?
Well,
Yeah, 4 and 2. Lost 2 back-to-back and then won 4. At the NFL fall owner meetings, NFL executive Don Aponte said the topic of playing surfaces was discussed. We know that that's been brought up multiple times, but ultimately they found there wasn't a significant difference in injuries between playing on grass or playing on turf. Albert Breer pushed back on the league's findings, tweeting, quote, "To me, this is pretty simple. All 32 teams choose to practice on grass on a daily basis, even when preparing for games played on turf. That tells you all you need to know about what's best for players."
Cam Ward has hit us with a lot of great quotes. His team is all this other stuff. But he also was like, he was the first one I heard him say, why do we practice on grass and play on turf? It makes no sense. And it doesn't because even as a receiver, my routes feel different. I think it affects maybe the linemen the least because they're so quick with their impacts. But on the outside, we feel it, man. So, yes, why do all teams practice on grass but play on turf?
It may be stupid, but I hadn't thought about it until he said that, until Albert Breer tweeted it, because there's absolutely no other reason to. Turf is cheaper. It's easier to maintain. I know that the grounds at, let's say, Virginia Mason Athletic Center are beautiful, so, of course, you want to be outside on the shores of Lake Washington practicing, blah, blah, blah. They also have an indoor stadium, or they have their indoor field that they can also use, which they really only do when it's raining, I guess, or freezing outside.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that does kind of speak to organizations around the league recognizing that it's probably better to play on grass. Yeah. And I don't know. It's very clearly a cost thing.
It is. Maintenance.
Yeah, that's obviously what it is. In another effort to resuscitate the Pro Bowl games, the NFL is moving it to the side of the Super Bowl, and it will be held Tuesday of Super Bowl week.
What was it last year?
Did they do it the week of?
No,
it's the same week, but not at. Oh, I don't know where it was.
I just assumed it was around the Super Bowl. Guess not.
No, but now it's
been
gonna
Hawaii.
Be there.
Moved from Hawaii and started bouncing around a little bit.
I just remember when it was in Hawaii forever.
Yeah.
But no, I always want to say Indy, and it's like, no, that would be the scouting combine.
Look, I do think the NFL's done a good job with the Pro Bowl week or whatnot. I do watch the flag, the dodgeball, the challenges. They got me interested again, that's for sure.
Yeah. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero says the Raiders met with Max Crosby on Tuesday to reiterate their commitment to him. This was after a report from Trey Wingo said the Cowboys had inquired about his availability. On his weekly radio show, Jerry Jones was asked about the likelihood that his Cowboys make a big splash before the November 4th trade deadline.
You don't just because we played well and all of a sudden everybody thinks, boy, you're in the hunt. So it's time to go out and gather up all of this talent that's waiting around out here on the trees to add to it. Now that we feel good that we can be more competitive, that's not realistic. What's realistic is that if we do see an opportunity, we are in as good a shape as we've been in years with picks, with financial, with our cap. We're in as good a shape we've ever been if we see a way to improve our team with a player that makes sense today, this year, next year, to entertain it and look at it.
Sometimes he just says a lot, and I'm not quite sure what he's saying. What I heard was, yeah, if it makes sense, we'll make a trade. But also, it sure sounds from Tom Pelissero like that won't be for Max Crosby.
Yeah, and also I think he's looking at his squad, and he's kind of proud right now. Another 3-3-1. Offense is playing well. If they can get some help on defense, who knows what this team can do, because the offense is the best in the game right now.
No, that offense, Dak Prescott's having an unbelievable year.
Don't you talk about Dak.
But he's gotten a lot of flack. Daiquiri has gotten a lot of flack. Dakota, I think fairly and again, I'll never tell a player to take less money. Get your money. So maybe the Cowboys have taken flack for Dak Prescott having a massive contract and not quite living up to it, but this year he is. Unfortunately, they moved on from Micah Parsons, and the defense is holding this team back.
I want to say every year that he's played all the games, he's lived up to it. Problem with him is he's been banged up the last couple of years. And when you're the Dallas Cowboys and you get all of this hype, you're expected to win Super Bowls and to make runs in the playoffs. That's where Daiquiri has fallen short.
What was the year when he led the league in interceptions?
Let me look.
I wouldn't say that's living up to it.
Maybe I don't think he was 2022, 15. That's the most he's ever had. It had to be that year. And he played 12 games.
That's still a good chunk of the season.
It is. Stop finding ways to hate on Dak.
I'm not finding ways to hate on Dak.
Finding ways.
Why are you defending the Cowboys?
Is this your new Matthew Stafford?
I don't
is that what this is?
Matthew Stafford. I don't hate Matthew Stafford.
I just think he's balling this year. I just think he's balling. That's all.
Stafford.
Hey, I'm saying he was like bump, but in '99 when he was in 7th grade.
People are going to start thinking this is real. This is like when you said, what was it? Your boy Mason Rudolph. Like, people are going to start thinking you're telling the truth.
I'm joking.
They're going to start passing me going, why do you hate Matthew Stafford? And then it's going to go around. And then Kelly Stafford on our podcast is going to say some girl up in Seattle hates my husband. And I'm going to say it's not true. It's not true. He's old. That's all I'm saying. We're getting back to the Mariners for a little bit here. College football coming up at 1 with Yogi Roth for Washington Wednesday. Coming up next, the single most important thing the Mariners need to do right now.
Wyman and Bob.
It's going to take a bit for this team, I think, to get past this moment.
Every afternoon at 2.
You know, to be that close, and you were just steps away, and you came up short. Some of them sat in that dugout and watched the Jays out there celebrating, and they're going to use that as fuel.
You're never going to be happy unless you win the last game, right?
Yeah, but somebody's always going home disappointed, and hopefully it's the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that'll be easy to root for the Dodgers.
Plus, they've got my favorite non-Mariner, Mookie.
Oh, that's right, Mookie.
Love Mookie.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Come in, have fun. Muckleshoot.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
This is the home of the Seahawks.
Going to let one fly deep. Got a man out there. Ball is caught down at the 10-yard line, and it's JSN.
Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and it's time to make the final push to the end of the year. Do you want to lose weight, improve your health, and have more energy? We have a proven system and a team of health coaches that have helped over 4,000 people in Washington lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. No gimmicks, no tricks, no drugs, just teaching you how to become a fat-burning machine and keep it off long-term. Visit eastsideweightlossklinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Yeah, it's Mike Salk here, and just like writing that essay back in high school or maybe in college, starting, that can be the hardest part. Well, Eastside Weight Loss Clinic makes it as easy as possible. They helped me lose 35 pounds in just 60 days. A no-pressure, free 15-minute phone consultation. See if it's right for you, and if it is, you got nothing to lose but the weight itself.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossklinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossklinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
With football season comes colder weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here with Keith Dashafee from locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. So Keith, what's your next big play?
Well, Steve, right now get 40% off qualifying installs or no payments and no interest for 12 months on approved credit.
Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends. Meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends. And explore the lively nightlife scene. The Dining District at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at BellevueCollection.com/dining district.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
What's the number one priority for the Mariners right now? If you had to choose, and you can text in if you want, the number one priority for the Mariners right now, Bump, what would be your number one priority?
Sign Josh Naylor.
Correct. That is, I feel like this is a right and wrong answer. This is not subjective to me. The single most important thing the Mariners need to do right now is find a way to keep Josh Naylor.
Yes.
So I wanted to talk about just that right here. That alone. I don't want to go through a list of things they have to do. We have an entire offseason to do that. Why is it so important to you that they keep Josh Naylor?
Naylor was the driving force in this this playoff run. In the ALCS. OPS was over 1,005 ribbies, 3 home runs, and clutch hit after clutch hit, getting on base. My man tried to jump up and take a baseball to the back for the squad.
He sure did, though. Like literally right off the dome.
And they had to think about it. Like, is this, does he have to slide now, or can he get in the way? They're trying to figure it out.
I respected that so much.
I did too,
that was
man.
Wild.
He's
Shane
like,
Bieber
I'll
was
die
not
for
happy.
this. And I'm in my home country.
I'll die for this.
I grew up 10 blocks from here, and I'm doing this for y'all. He brings an attitude and a confidence that I think this team is needing. You know what I thought about the different type of leadership that's been on this squad. And remember when Santana was on the squad and he brought something different. He's the one that got them celebrating. Now, granted, he was at the end of his career or back 9 of his career, so there's really no value in trying to keep him and sign him. But he gave that team that push to kind of get to the playoffs, and then he was gone. This is a guy who is younger, who brings more than just the mental to the game, but is producing at a high level. You don't have a first baseman ready to go in the farm system. Evan White's long gone, okay? We don't even talk about him anymore, all right? You need to sign this man, and you need to not disrespect him. If someone comes in at this number, a little higher,
Mhm.
right? Show him. Don't even try to match it. Come in higher and let him know we are invested. He needs to be here.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm glad you made that point about leadership too, because it's what I wrote down. We were of the same mind with it. And I think it's important. I would imagine a lot of people were thinking the same thing too, of like, it's not just, yes, he was one of two people, Cal Raleigh being the other, to hit over 300 in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
But more than that, he's got that dog in him.
That dog.
He's got two. He's got a whole pound.
He's got a litter.
And that's important. The Mariners were going through a phase where Carlos Santana, like you said, a Justin Turner, someone who had just been there before, who had been to the postseason, because you had an entire group of people that for the most part hadn't even been to the playoffs at all. We're not even talking like get a World Series roster going. They had not been to the postseason, and they were a very young team. And you needed to get someone in here who was born in the early 90s even, who was in his 30s, and could teach them a lot of things, and they did. I mean, Cal's spoken multiple times about how valuable that relationship with Justin Turner was for what he was able to do this year. So those relationships and those veterans you brought in did pay dividends. Carlos Santana having a huge impact on Julio and teaching them to celebrate wins, and now they have like a long since viral dance to celebrate
The
wins.
Seahawks did it.
Yeah, result of Carlos Santana being here. However, now you're at a different stage. And you're at a stage when you desperately need players who are really smart, know how to get after it, willing to lay it all on the line, who inject this clubhouse with a hunger. And I know that those guys are already hungry for it. I have no doubt in my mind that guys like JP and Julio, who we heard yelling in the locker room, that these guys want it badly. But I think that that's what you're now looking for in others that you're bringing in.
Yeah, you need some of that to rub off, you know? Like when you hang out with certain people, you start saying the same things. You start moving the same way. You know, you're still your individual self. You bring something to the group, and Julio does, Cal does, you know, all these guys involved. But Naylor brings something a little different. He brings that attitude. In football, you always say, oh, you want the biggest guy first off the bus. Nah, I want Naylor off the bus first.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, he's not the biggest guy in height. He got some weight to him.
Yeah.
But I want Naylor off the bus first because he's going to set the tone. And it seems
He's
like
gonna stare you down.
Yeah, and it seems like he acclimated so well to the Northwest. Like he loves
I
Northwest.
agree.
He's wearing Sonics jerseys, cracking jerseys. It just makes too much sense not to grab this man and lock him down for a while.
Ryan Dempster on with Wyman and Bob just yesterday said Josh Naylor absolutely fits everything the Mariners now clearly want to do.
I like Josh Naylor a lot, and I think that should be something that they really, hone in on, Jerry DiPoto and Justin Hollander, and say, hey, of our checklist this offseason, bringing back Josh Naylor, who was able to perform in Seattle. And, we can all recognize that it's not the easiest place to hit, but you have a guy that fits your culture, that fits your group. I think he is really important to what they do going forward. And I think that should be a priority for the Mariners this offseason to look at bringing Josh Naylor back, because I think that, goes a long way for not only the on-field production, but for what he does in the room with that group.
But how much is he going to cost? I don't care.
Don't matter.
Doesn't matter. Blank check. Whatever it takes.
What do you think it's going to cost? Curtis, what do you think?
Who
25
cares?
mil?
Who cares
I
what
still
it's going to cost?
know. I still want to know.
Okay.
I think it'll be right around the qualifying offer, so like
Who cares?
21 million or so, which I think that is a more than reasonable price tag to pay for somebody as important as Josh.
I was expecting 25, so yeah. All right.
Worth it. Worth every penny.
Worth it.
Double it.
And he's only 28. He's only going to be 29 next year. Like most free agents are usually like on the other side of 30. Like he's got some youth to him.
I just can't stress enough. First of all, he became a 0 to 60 fan favorite here. It took no time at all. He was part of a lot of really important plays. He showed up in the postseason. He met the moment. And again, going back to the attitude and the edge that he brings, you need that. You need that.
You know what?
Every team does.
He is every fan group has their roles. I got a buddy, he's the funny guy. He's gonna send memes all the time. I got a buddy who sets up the tea times. I got a buddy who's gonna bring the music, a buddy who's gonna bring the drinks, And Naylor brings the attitude, the swag, and the competitiveness that this organization needs. If they do not sign Josh Naylor, there might be issues in the streets. All right, people are going to take to the streets
is talking.
and they're going to protest They're going to do everything they can because if they don't feel what Naylor has done for this team, it's not even forget the numbers. Just feel what Naylor is when he's out on the diamond, when he's in the dugout. If upstairs they don't feel that and don't feel the worth, man, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Someone said Scott Boras is his agent. Well, you better fix that relationship.
Fix it.
I don't envy you. He doesn't seem very likable. Not my problem. That's a tough spot to be in for Jerry and Justin. Can't be fun. Feel for you guys. That's really tough. Gotta fix it.
Make it work.
This is so important.
It work.
So monumentally important to what you need to do.
Yeah.
And look, it's easy to sit from afar and go, just do it. It's so easy to sit here with money that isn't mine, with a deal that I don't have to negotiate and tell them to do it. But it is worth acknowledging that it's what everyone else is doing too. Every single person is sitting here saying the same thing. That's how important he is to this city and to this team.
Yep.
So
get her done.
All right. We are talking college football. Washington Wednesday coming your way next with Yogi Roth.
It's the Hawks Player Spotlight.
Tight end A.J. Barner is with us. How are you, man?
Doing well. It's good to be on here.
Brought to you by Three Tree Roofing.
The rookie on this O-line, Gray Zabel, is with us.
Sam is an elite quarterback.
Going deep with a different Hawks player every day at 3:30 with Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports.
Every time he walks into a huddle, we know we got a chance for a big play.
Nick Eamon-Wari is with us.
I felt good physically going into the game.
Catch up on every Hawks Spotlight on Seattle Sports on YouTube and the Seattle Sports app.
The fall, well, it's a great time to reset your workouts on new stuff, and Top Fitness has some great deals going on right now. Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and you've heard me talk about working out in your home gym. It's the best. From flooring to everything that goes in that gym, like treadmills, ellipticals, and strength training systems, well, Top Fitness provides it all. Top Fitness represents the very best brands available, like Washington's own Precor, yes, the company that created the elliptical, and Inspire Fitness, the leader in strength training machines, along with so many others. Give Top Fitness your room dimensions right now, and you know what? They'll do the rest. They'll do a complete fitness room design. And right now, get 0% interest financing, mention you heard it from me, and receive an additional $100 off any new treadmill or home gym. It's no secret that everyone, from personal trainers to professional athletes, love Top Fitness. Top Fitness has locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or visit them online at topfitness.com for more info. That's Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Seattle's rainy season is here. Don't wait to replace your roof. Schedule your free estimate at 3treeroofing.com and get $500 off your roofing project. Our expert team creates a custom plan for your home, ensuring a smooth, worry-free installation even in the winter months. With material prices low and lead time short, now is the best time to act. Stop throwing money at costly repairs. Protect your home this winter with a new roof from your neighbors at 3Tree Roofing. Visit 3treeroofing.com today to secure your $500 discount. 3Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Front Row Card Show is returning to Tacoma. Join them at the Greater Tacoma Convention Center October 25th and 26th. Baseball, football, basketball, and hockey cards, plus collectibles such as Pokemon, Marvel, Star Wars, and comic books. Beckett, CGC, and JSA will be there, so bring your cards, comics, and autographs to sell, trade, or get them graded. More than 400 tables, thousands of dollars in free prizes. Front Row Card Show, Greater Tacoma Convention Center, Saturday and Sunday, October 25th and 26th, 11 to 5. For more info, go to frontrowcardshow.com.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here with Luke Wilson, a local owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
Thanks, Rick. Just like October baseball, Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington is stepping up to the plate. Mention Go Seattle when you schedule, and you'll score 15% off, plus 12 months with no payments and no interest. This is your chance to swing big. This offer won't be around for extra innings.
Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
The birth of the American supercar is roaring into LeMay, America's Car Museum, October 25th. Curated by racing legend Steve Saleen, this high-octane exhibition features icons like Hennessy, Shelby, Zinger, and more. Don't miss it. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Per ESPN, the struggling Baltimore Ravens got good news today. Lamar Jackson returned to practice for the first time since injuring his hamstring nearly a month ago. He remains limited for right now. Ravens hosting the Bears Sunday in the 10 a.m. window. They'll follow that up with a Thursday night game against the Dolphins on October 30th. Meanwhile, the Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels, who is also dealing with a hamstring injury, has already been ruled out for Monday Night Football against the Chiefs.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
Washington Wednesdays is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Washington Wednesdays, presented by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Big Ten Network's Yogi Roth joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. And Yogi, while we're very happy to have you, I was hoping that we'd be able to bring you on and I could start ranting and raving about how Washington should be ranked and they're getting disrespected and overlooked. And then there was a loss to Michigan, and that one broke my heart. What'd you see in that one?
I still think that they're getting disrespected in the ranking side of it. I mean, the Big Ten's, as you know, and as we've all come to learn, like it's a hyper-competitive league. You know, I think Jed, who references it often, Jed Fish, is like it feels kind of like the NFL in terms of every game comes down to the last 2 minutes. So for the broadcaster and all of us here on this call, like, it's awesome. Like, it's exactly what you want every Saturday. But you do have to make, a few plays a game. And for Washington, they just did things that we haven't seen them do all year, which is turn the ball over. When I went back and watched that game, that was the big storyline for me. And you guys know me well enough. I really believe this, that in big-time games, a quarterback has to make 3 big-time throws in the second half. And Bryce Underwood did, and Damon Williams didn't, and that's just kind of the truth behind, I think what we saw in the game. But I think UW's still really talented. They're to me right in that second tier of teams in the Big Ten, behind Ohio State, Indiana, and I put Oregon in that mix. And then it's kind of fun just to see all those teams play and suitably beat up on one another.
Yogi, what do you think the potential of this UW team is? Because I'm like you, man. I see what Devon is doing. I see what Boston is doing over there. If the defense can make a few more stops, they'll be solid. Where do they stack up when you look at the rest of the Big Ten?
I think they stack up kind of to that point, like right in the middle of it. You kind of make cases. It kind of reminds you of the Pac-12 back in the day where like everybody kind of beat each other up, but there wasn't really premier teams at the top per se. Like it was Utah and Oregon and Washington and Stanford every couple of years. They kind of rotated. Here, like it's Ohio State. They're not going anywhere. Indiana might be the best story I've seen in my lifetime in college football in terms of a team that wasn't necessarily knocking on the door of championships, and they're a legit contender. You watch them play, and there's weekends in a vacuum where I think they play better than Ohio State. So I think you have those two at the top. I think Oregon's in that conversation as well. And then you could just kind of have fun, honestly, when you kind of look up and down the league. Like I look at Iowa, and in a vacuum, you don't want to play them. I mean, it's a tough out. You could argue when Michigan's on and they win a line of scrimmage, they're a tough out, as you saw. SC, 2 weeks ago, we would have thought they were knocking on the door as a CFP team, and then they went to Notre Dame. So I think that's really a huge part of the league, you know. And then you have Maryland, which is another premier young quarterback. You've seen, you know, Rutgers can flash at times. I'm calling their game this weekend. Haven't been able to put it together. Purdue, they'll knock somebody off. And Wisconsin's the one team that's pretty down. You know, they're in his third quarterback in the portal era. It's pretty hard. But I think Washington is squarely in that, you know, second tier, if you will. And then you're reminded it's only year two. Yeah. And they don't have two offensive linemen. Zach Durfee's been in and out, you know, their most impactful edge rusher at times. They haven't had both corners healthy every single game this season. So I think you just believe in what Jed Fish is building, and you know it's just going to keep tracking, especially with Damon Williams at the helm and the growth we've seen him from last year to now.
I have more questions about Washington, and we're going to get to Saturday's matchup, of course, at Husky Stadium between Washington and number 23 Illinois. But I want to get back to what you said about Indiana, because you mentioned you know, it's maybe my favorite story in college football, and it is a really good one. But would you mind just running it over with fans listening? Because I think there is this feeling of like, you know, an Ohio State at the top never falls off, never gets challenged. But remind us all of this story that you're watching this year.
Yeah, I'm happy to. Well, I think one, like, just to set the stage for Ohio State, you know, I've been doing this 18 years now, calling games. And I did Ohio State's spring game, and it was the first time in 18 years calling games that I ever said to myself after a practice, they remind me of what we had at SC back in the day, which was true competitive depth. I'm talking every position is up for grabs on every Tuesday during the season, every Wednesday during the season. That's what they have. You know, I love asking that when I'm calling games. I ask every coach, what position is really up for grabs on Tuesday? And for most teams, there's 2 to 4. You know, you'd be lucky, edge rusher, secondary, wide out, running back, right? But Ohio State is different in that regard. Okay, spin it to Indiana. As you watch them play at the line of scrimmage, and look no further than the Oregon game, they were physical at the line of scrimmage. This wasn't just Kurt Cignetti, Mike Shanahan's the offensive coordinator, an offense that can move the ball with everybody. You know, everybody on your show knows Fernando Mendoza from Cal and his time there. That is not what this team is. This team has real next-level players on the offense and defensive front. This team has they deploy a 3-linebacker crew, which we never see. It's pretty much 40 linemen, 2 backers, 5 DBs everywhere you see college football these days. They're a little different there, and they are a physical out in their front 7. The back end is the most improved group. It was the biggest question mark coming into the season. And then offensively, they just do really sound things. You know, they remind you a little bit of Washington, you know, and what they do. They've got pro principles, but they've modernized it with what they do in college football, whether that's run-pass option game, some of the zone read game. And Fernando Mendoza is just playing at an insane level. I mean, I think he only has 9 incompletions in every home game this season, or his last 4 home games, like something insane. And he's seeing it clean. He's getting the ball out, and his receivers are killing it in terms of yards after the catch. So they're a challenge. And then you add in the edge, and that's where they're different than Ohio State. Ohio State is the biggest recruits in the world who want to walk into that cauldron of competition, as Bill Walsh used to say, and prove their worth every day. That's created competitively based on the DNA of the player, the DNA of Ryan Day and the coaching staff and the practice. For Indiana, majority of those players were kind of, you know, Bump was a big recruit, but probably more like the other like 3 to 4 star players you've seen at Washington State over the years, at UW over the years. They're not 6'3", 240. They're 6'1", 220, and they've come up from James Madison. They've come up from the lower levels of college football, or in the last year they've transferred in from places like Notre Dame, and they're killing it. And they're bringing that edge. And I think Kurt Cignetti, he's just old school in terms of he took a long path. Right? This is a guy 50 years old, coaching under Nick Saban at Alabama, and bet on himself. It took $150,000 and went to IUP, which is a tiny D2 school in Pennsylvania, because he wanted to be a head coach. Went from there to Elon College in North Carolina, eventually to James Madison, and then to Indiana. And I just think he knows what buttons to press. Like, he's learned along the way. I know we love when coaches are hot shots and they go fast. He hasn't done that. But it means he doesn't miss much. And I think there's something to that. And I really believe that they're a threat. They're a threat to win the whole dang thing this season. And we'll see, how the rest of the season pans out. But they are as consistent of a program as we've seen outside of Ohio State.
Hey, Yogi, were you surprised that, there was some pushback when he signed that deal with Indiana? There's some people thinking, you should have waited. I don't think he's worth all that right now. You got to do more. Or do you feel like Indiana was smart in trying to lock him down in the long run or for the long run?
Well, I think it's, two things can be true. Number one, when Penn State made that move for the reasons they made that move, part of me said, well, all the candidates you want are now going to use you as leverage. Mm-hmm. And Curt Cignetti was candidate, call it 1A, 1B, based on popular vote and popular opinion. The way he told it, at least earlier this week, was he didn't try to do anything. The AD walked in on a Monday or a Tuesday after James Franklin news came out and said, hey, I want to call your agent. I want to make this deal. And he goes, yeah, call him. Go ahead. I think it's a lesson for all of us as the goalposts always keep moving, and we all want the biggest and baddest next job, and me included. Like, we're all chasing that thing. But there is a point in your life where, and I call it like form versus essence, like the form of the job is the Penn State logo or a CW logo for you, Bump, or a Big Ten or NBC logo for me calling games. But like the essence of the job is still the same thing. So if you're having fun, if you're loving what you're building, where you're living, the people you're around, you're getting paid enough to be happy, and he's getting paid a ton to be happy, over $11 million now, like, take the gig. And I love that. I think there's a lot of wisdom in the decision he made. I think that The Athletic wrote a beautiful piece about, like, the duality of that choice. And neither one's wrong, neither one's necessarily right, but it's based on the individual. So was I surprised? I was. I thought he might have taken a shot at one of these huge blue blood jobs just at the stage of life he's in the stage of his career. But the fact that he said, no, we're doing it here, made me smile, man. Made me like, this is pretty cool. Like, with all the transitions, 10 jobs open before November 1st. He's saying, no, I'm good. Look out. Here we come in this new era of college football.
Well, and speaking of the new era of college football and those jobs opening up, I even found myself wondering, you get the notification, breaking news banner about Florida, and I immediately went, I wonder if Jedd Fisch is going to be interested in that one. Unsurprisingly, he was asked about it at a press conference, and rightfully kind of was, I don't know how to answer that. I'm moving on, focusing on Illinois. But I guess what I'm wondering, Yogi, and this is a convoluted question, and I apologize for that, but within the vein of just the landscape of college football now, I think what a lot of Husky fans are worried about is, how do you find someone that wants to stay here and build up a program that now has to try to, fight its way in a really, really tough Big Ten to get to the top? That feels like it requires longevity from a head coach, but I don't know how to get that. I don't know. What do you think about that conundrum that many schools like Washington are finding themselves in?
I go back to the phrase, and like I always tell my wife this, and she rolls her eyes, but I do believe two things can be true. Like, on one hand, college football fans, we want nostalgia. We want pageantry. We want Don James. We want 10, 12, 15 years. And just look at the stats. Like, how long do we think Chris Peterson was at Washington? Feels like he was there 20 years. What was he there, 5 or 6? It's just not true. It doesn't happen in this era of the game because of the pressure, because of the money, because of, even if you don't win, it's like, all right, we're moving on. Like, I don't agree with a lot of these moves that have happened so quickly because it's, geez, you got to go restart again. But because there's so much money involved in it, like, there's big pressure and big expectations. The problem is that's everywhere. So if everybody's going to make huge money, everybody can't win. It just doesn't happen. So, I just think that's kind of a truth to where the coaching profession lies right now. It's also it's a bear of a job. So how many coaches, A, get to leave on their own, B, like Coach Peterson, B, make it past 6 years? Which is, again, like, I just go look at the math. Like, we think people are there forever. It's just not true. It just isn't reality. It's like we think Chip Kelly was at Oregon forever. I think he was there for 4 seasons as the head coach. Like, it's just not the truth. Now, on the flip side, all the coaches I talk to, they know how hard it is to build something, Jedd included, and want to build something and then have success for a long period of time. I've never met a coach who loves to move a lot, and I think Jedd gets painted with that brush accurately based on his resume, but inaccurately based on the context of those jobs. If you go back to even Arizona, he's waiting for an extension, and the board never approves it. If they approve it in December, he's never even at Washington. He signs this long extension, and he's there because he loved it there. You know, he got offered a Big Ten job. I would argue probably a better job for a bunch of different reasons, ended up taking it. So I think people paint him sometimes as a guy who's jumping job to job. When you dive into the circumstance, like that's actually not the truth. And I've known Jed for almost 20 years now, and I know how much he loves it at Washington. I know how hard it was to build in year one. And look where they are. I mean, they're on the doorstep. Like, they're a two-loss team. If they beat Illinois this weekend, you know, a two-loss team's getting into the playoff from the Big Ten. You know, in my opinion, Illinois will see, like, they'll have to overcome the stigma of the loss to Indiana. But pending that argument, there's, I think, 8 or 9 two-loss teams in the Big Ten right now. If Washington wins this game and then can win out, if they can knock off Oregon in the finale, like, look out, folks. Like, so I just think that it's easy, and it's you're not doing this, but I think for fans it's really lazy to be like, oh, he's going. Just like Cignetti. Just like I do it with Cignetti and Matt Rule. I'm like, oh, obviously candidates. But we don't know their life. Like, Matt Rule's got kids in junior high. Like, he loves living in Lincoln. Like, I don't know if he really wants to go jump to that. I think we just all perceive it as such. And I think the same thing for Jed. I think that's a partly fair and partly unfair label that people throw on him. And I just know this from knowing him for a long time. He's loving it there. Patron has been incredible. It's a duo that he needs to pour into this facility. And again, they're in year 2. And they had every chance to beat Michigan. They beat them last year. Pretty fun game against Ohio State. Like, Jed knows how to build a program, and I know how much he's enjoying building it there in Seattle.
Hey, I want to ask you about UCLA. Obviously, you know how the season started. You lose 4 straight, and they make moves. Deshaun, a good friend of mine, so that was unfortunate. But they've bounced back. I mean, you beat number 7 Penn State. At the time, number 7. We'll see how we feel about that now. But you beat Michigan State. You beat Maryland. Number 2 Indiana coming up this week. What do you like about what's happening at UCLA?
A lot. Number one, and you know this, and this was my message to the team. We had one of their games at Michigan State against Jonathan Smith's squad. And it was like when Deshaun got let go, and I'm dear friends with him too, as well as Akaika Malloy and Tino Sinceri, who played quarterback at Pitt. Like, think about what they went through. And I believe this, and I'd said this to all 10 programs that have, since fired their head coach. This will be the season you remember the most in your whole football lives, because you'll remember how you banded together. And in the era of individuality, you can go one way or the other. And Nico Iamaleava, who I believe is the most misunderstood player in the country, and I've spent a ton of time around him. He walked into the practice field in advance of that Penn State game and said, look, you're either in or you're out, and I know who's out, so just leave. And he said it in probably a different style and manner because he is the captain, and he's probably a lot more of an alpha than I am. And they listened, and look at how they responded. They won the line of scrimmage against Penn State. They had a heck of a half against Northwestern the previous game before they beat the Nittany Lions. They put it all over Michigan State against, I think we would always assume Jonathan Smith's teams are really well coached. It wasn't close having called that game. Maryland, they're down late, and they get 2 scores in the last 3 minutes of the ball game, and what a job of resiliency by them. So I love it. I mean, and Chris Cignetti said it. Like, this is a team in Big Ten play since they've been 3-0. They're averaging 300 yards or 200-plus yards rushing the ball. I mean, they are running the football. They're dictating terms. I think Nico is playing with a tremendous level of confidence. The ball's getting out. It's kind of like first read to use my legs. And when you let him use his legs, he'll kill you. When you keep him in the pocket, he's been shown to burn you with his arm. Defense is playing a lot better, flying to the football. So Indiana will be ready. This will not be what Indiana did to the Bruins a year ago. They came into the Rose Bowl and put it all over them in the first Big Ten game for both of those teams last season. I think it'll be a really competitive game. The challenge against Indiana is their defense is based on havoc. They are based on really creating as much pushback as possible at the line of scrimmage, and they do a really nice job. If you just go watch the end zone cut up of their team, and then go watch Ohio State's, and that's why I say it's like closer than people think. These two teams, they just create havoc, and they want to create as much knockback as possible, and then let the linebackers clean it up. And they got the 3 linebackers that I referenced. So I think it'll be a really fun test for UCLA and Tim Skipper. I think Tim Skipper has squarely put himself rightfully right in the middle of getting that job permanently. And for all those ADs listening, whether it's Oregon State, Colorado State, I don't care where, like, Tim Skipper needs to be on your radar. I'm sure that he is, because he's earned the right, in my opinion, to be a head coach. He did that last year at Fresno, didn't get that one. fell into this one and due to unforeseen circumstances, but has done a heck of a job. And I don't think there's a coach in the country who knows the profession that wouldn't agree with that.
Phenomenal insight, as always, from Yogi Roth. For even more from Yogi, make sure you go listen to Y Option. It's a college football podcast through the lens of the West Coast, which is something that I know so many Washington fans are always craving from experts. And Yogi has you covered. His latest edition, he's going to be joined by Cougs great Luke Falk on this week's edition of the Y Option podcast. So rate, review, subscribe if you aren't already. Big Ten Network's Yogi Roth. Thanks, Yogi.
Thanks, Yogi.
You got it. Keep killing it. Love watching y'all. See ya.
Have a good one. All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory. Going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down. What's something, I don't know why I said it like first down. What's something Mike McDonald did against the Texans that isn't typical, but you loved it?
Well, we know he doesn't really bring pressure. And with the way the front four is playing, you don't have to bring that much pressure because they are dominating down there. But he did a double corner blitz. He sent Josh Jobe. He sent Reek Woolen. Reek got picked up by the running back. You bring more than they can block. Josh Jobe is now available and ready to make a play, and he does. C.J. Stroud gets caught up. He throws the football across the middle. Ernest Jones intercepts that thing. Blitz sometimes is all about timing. And I haven't seen that on film. I've seen a single corner blitz, but not a double corner blitz. So Stroud, his eyes were to the right, I believe. He knew he was protected there. Didn't expect the corner to blitz from the other side. Got caught up a little bit, and he made some plays. But the risky thing about that is those outside linebackers were stressed the heck out. They had hook to curl, curl to flat. They had like a third of the field to cover in the flat all by themselves. So you have to get home and get after that quarterback. It was fun to see. I don't think we're going to see a lot of that, but the timing of that was perfect.
Second down. Who's been the comeback player of the year so far for the Seahawks?
It's got to be Uchenna Nwosu. He's playing the 4th most snaps when we look at the linebacker/edge guys. He leads the team with 5 sacks through 7 games. He is on pace to have a good season. In 2024, he had 6 sacks through 6 games. Didn't finish that season. 23, 4 sacks through 6 games. Didn't finish that season. 22, 3 sacks through 7 games. Ended up with 9.5 sacks. He's on pace to get into them double digits. And if he can do that, this team is on their way. They're already 4th in the league when it comes to sacks with 23. So it has to be Uchenna Nwosu. So far, so good. Emotional leader, making plays. Love seeing 7 all over the field.
Third down. There's a stat about K9 that just does not seem real. What is it?
How good is this run game this year?
It's not quite there yet.
Not quite there yet. It's effective. It helps to pass, but we're not seeing the numbers.
They try it a lot.
They try.
They try.
The good old try.
I appreciate them trying.
We do, right?
Yeah.
K9 is tied for the most explosive runs in the NFL this year with 5. And I saw that, and I got down. That's a lie. That don't make sense. What are you talking about?
Check your numbers.
But he's got 5 of them. So that's how hard it is to run in this league. You got running backs with 100 more yards than K9. He's like top 15 when it comes to yards for 430-something. The leader has 630 or 640 or something like that. Oh, no, but he's got 5. So just keep at it. We see a 1-2 combo with him and Zach Charbonnet. Charbonnet getting the bulk of the carries last week. Maybe it was a game plan thing. But if you can save these guys, if you can have that 1-2 combo, K9 be the explosive guy, Zach Charbonnet be just the bruiser, you're going to set yourself up. Every week I see the run game take a step in the right direction, and you just got to keep things moving. But, yeah, K9 tied for 1st in the league with explosive runs.
Would you like to see a bit more usage for K9? Rob Staten yesterday on with us said, you know, hey, you really like the 1-2 punch. It's great to have both Charbonnet and K9 as weapons, but, like, is there ever a time when maybe a guy can't get going or, you know, someone could maybe be the primary back for that game because it's working?
No, I think that if that opportunity presents itself, you have to take it. If K9 is on a roll and he's feeling it, let that man go. Same thing with Zach Charbonnet.
4th down. The defense has been getting a lot of well-deserved love for pressure rates, quarterback hits, and sacks. But what else should they be getting love for?
Tackles for loss, TFL. They have 41 overall. They have the 4th most in the NFL. Naturally, you would expect, because they're 4th in the NFL, that there's going to be somebody on this team that's got like 10, 12, and it's up there with the best in the league. No. DeMarcus Lawrence leads the team with 6. That makes him 18th in the league. So what that means is they're getting TFLs from a lot of different places. Drake has 5. Kobe has 4. He's a corner. Murphy has 4. D-line. Ernest has 3. Linebacker. Nwosu has 3. edge. Williams has 3 interior. And Marore has 3 nickel. They are getting TFLs from everywhere, and that's a good sign. That means there are multiple type of defense. You're not just relying on the D-line to provide pressure. You can get it from anywhere. So I love that stat. Every week these stats make more and more sense because you have more data, more film to watch to make it all make sense, which I do every Monday or after the game. So if you need something to do, check out my Make It Make Sense. Stacy, you have a segment that's called what?
Numbers That Matter.
Numbers That Matter.
Yeah.
So check out our
Mine's
extra
a preview
content.
segment.
Preview segment.
Yours is a reaction
Do
segment.
the reaction. So, we're just doing what we do.
Yeah. I won't be doing this one for the bye week, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No
See,
numbers?
you still had to be on it reacting to this one, but I'm taking a little vacation here for a week. I've got lots of other stuff to do. There's a new episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City that I need to catch up on. I just have too much work.
And I won't do Make It Make Sense either because there is no game. So
Have you ever had people be like, my sister and her boyfriend were like, oh, let's go watch this movie. You know, what do your plans look like? And I looked at my calendar now that the Mariners season is done and we don't have all of our broadcasts and everything. And it was just, like, is it ever just blank? You look at it and you're like, let me see.
Yeah, Tuesdays are different now.
We got Veterans Day.
No matinee games.
Nothing.
Nah.
Absolutely nothing. Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
Cooper Flagg makes his NBA debut tonight with the Mavs against Wemby and the Spurs. Tip-off at 6:30 p.m. on ESPN. Coming up next, Ryan Divish joined us yesterday, and he said something that's still sticking with us 24 hours later.
Wyman and Bob.
It's going to take a bit for this team, I think, to get past this moment.
Every afternoon at 2.
You know, to be that close, you were just steps away and you came up short. Some of them sat in that dugout and watched the Jays out there celebrating, and they're going to use that as fuel.
You're never going to be happy unless you win the last game, right?
Yeah, but somebody's always going home disappointed, and hopefully it's the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that'll be easy to root for the Dodgers.
Plus, they've got my favorite non-Mariner, Mookie.
Oh, that's
Betts.
right, Mookie.
Love Mookie.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Start having fun. Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
I had pain. I had numbness in my feet.
That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. It's all neurologists. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Want more Seahawks content? Join me, G. Scott, on The Reset. New episodes of the podcast every Monday and Thursday on YouTube or on the Seattle Sports app.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-466-3300. That's 206-466-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Earlier in the show, we talked about how, first of all, we looked at the NFL, teams like the Rams, but in MLB, the Royals were able to, get to a championship, lose in a heartbreaking manner, but then fight their way back. We talked about how important it is that the Mariners re-sign Josh Naylor, and then we talked about how sometimes a lower payroll can cost you in the postseason when it comes to issues that also cropped up. We opened the show by talking about, okay, outside of Dan Wilson's decision, what other things ended up costing this team? And bottom of the lineup was one of those things. But it's also about decisions that you're going to end up making. And it's why this quote from Ryan Divish, who was on with us yesterday, was still sticking with us 24 hours later.
Yeah, all the pieces are in place for them to get back. And a lot of people are saying this is only a beginning. It's only, that's all well and good that this is the beginning, but it's only the beginning if you continue to invest and build in your team and supplement your team. You have to, it was clear you needed another leverage arm in the bullpen, and you need other players. I mean, the 7, 8, 9 players that they had this year were not getting the results in the postseason that were needed. And I think you look at that and you say, okay, can we upgrade there? How do we upgrade there? And money shouldn't be an excuse, considering they went over their attendance totals from last year thanks to that final week of the season, and they're playing into the postseason and get a share of the postseason money.
It's only the beginning if you continue to invest. And this was in part from a conversation that Jeff Passan had with Brock and Salk. That itself also a great interview, but wherein Jeff Passan said, I see this as more of like a beginning for the Mariners as opposed to an end. And I thought that Ryan adding that important context about there's still action required. Like if you want this to be the beginning, it's not going to be handed to you. 29 other teams are trying to win too. So you have to continue improving and continue spending and making moves.
Yeah, you don't you're not looking at the lawn right now and admiring the lines. The line's grown a little bit. Now you got to edge that thing up again. You got to mow it down a little bit. You have to maintain it, or your HOAs are going to be on you right now.
This is the most dad analogy you've used today.
Hey, and there's people out there feeling it right now. Guarantee you.
When you mentioned the HOA, they were, I know.
Right.
Tell me about it.
Like, lawn can be higher than 4 inches, or they're going to be on you.
Oh my God.
It is what it is. So yeah, it's a constant battle, just like gardening and maintaining your home. It's you have to be diligent. There are times where you sit back, admire your work. That was during the playoffs after the trade deadline. You admired for a little bit, then you get ahead again. You try to figure out, okay, what are scenarios that are going to happen? You try to get ahead of some things, and the playoffs start happening. You admire a little bit, then you get back to work. No, you have to invest. You have to take advantage of an opportunity. You felt like the last time they missed an opportunity was the last time this rotation was completely healthy, no one got hurt, and you didn't do enough to help these guys out. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from experiences. And I'll say it again. If this does not motivate ownership to spend some dang money, you are going to lose a lot of fans.
Let's talk about more motivation here. Trevor Plouffe, who knows a ton about baseball, is saying he's expecting regression from the Mariners next year.
I assess that they're going to take a step backwards next year. They're losing some main pieces here that they brought over that really helped their team. Josh Naylor, Eugenio Suarez, guys they went out and got. Those guys are free agents. I think you're going to have to fill a 60-homer, 125 RBI season from Cal Raleigh. It's very hard to duplicate something like that. Look, I know he's a great player, but you have to imagine the numbers are going to come down to earth a little bit. Do you believe in that? Because I do. There's a lot of things they're going to have to figure out, man. I don't see them as a team on an upward trajectory. Do you?
Trevor Plouffe isn't sitting here being like a Mariners hater because he can't stand Seattle. And he clearly knows about baseball. Do I think it's a little premature? Sure, but here's why he's doing it. One, because statistically it is incredibly likely that Cal does not hit 60 home runs again. He will still continue to be a switch-hitting, power-hitting catcher and probably your home run leader, which is what he's been pretty much every single year for the last 4 years. Great. You're going to need to replace runs. What Trevor's also clearly leaning on, even though he's not directly saying
a couple guys are gone.
is assuming a couple guys are gone and assuming that the Mariners aren't going to replace it because he's leaning on habits that in his mind the Mariners have had before.
Pulled out that search history.
Don't let Trevor be right. And I'm not saying you need to make it personal because, again, he's leaning on an underlying assumption about what other players are going to choose and what the Mariners are going to choose. Don't let that be something that people can easily assume anymore.
You know what happens when you go to therapy? You change. Mariners, go to therapy. Let's change. Let's change the way you approach things. Let's change the way you view building an organization. Go to therapy, talk to somebody, okay, and let's change. Therapy changed my life. I hope it changes theirs.
First the lawn, then therapy.
Hey,
Mariners, you get up, you put your New Balances on.
Hey, we do real radio here. Okay? Real talk radio.
You know that.
So I think that Ryan's right. I don't think Trevor will be right, but he will be if you don't do anything. There's a version where Trevor's absolutely correct.
There is.
You don't want to admit it, but there's a world where Trevor is absolutely right. Don't let that, Mariners, become what happens. Spend. Do something. Be aggressive. Keep Naylor. Do whatever you need to do. Again, like I said earlier, make the bar a World Series. That's the bar. That's the new bar. No more wild card banner. No more, get to the postseason and it's a win. No more of that. The bar has been set. You lost Game 7 of the ALCS in heartbreaking fashion. The way that you surpass that is getting to the World Series. That's it. That's the bar the players have for themselves.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
All right. Let's say they sign Suarez, they sign Naylor, they sign Polanco. What else? Is it all pitching? Are you banking on bringing back your bats? And I would assume it's the bottom, it's the rebounds,
I would want them to,
it's the downs, right?
Yes, to add more there.
But you'd be that's priority number one. Is obviously is Naylor, and then would you go Polanco then Suarez?
What I don't want is hey, we're running a platoon at multiple infield positions. We're leaning on prospects that are coming back up with us. Like, if you want to turn and say, hey, we're going to have Ben Williamson at third, and we really, really like him. He's cheaper than Gino. Gino cooled off. Whatever. That's what you end up doing. Please don't let that be your plan at first and also at second. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to have a young guy that you're working out and that's a prospect you believe in and you like what he brings, fine. But you need to make up for runs. You need to make up for offense. And, yeah, you do need to add to your pen.
I'm just saying, so say all of those guys come back. You re-sign them, right? The main guys. All right, so you're making up for runs. You're making up for offense. You're gonna find an 8-9 type of guy. All right, you're not going to get mad production out of that spot. If you do, so be it. You struck gold. Good for you. But the move that corresponds with them bringing all those guys back isn't going to be a move that we're like, puts us over the top.
Then maybe you move on from Suarez. You prioritize bringing back Naylor as number one, and then if you can bring back Polanco, great. And then you go spend money on 2 other bats.
That's the only way I see them making a move that puts them over the top or brings more bang to the buck is Suarez, which is jacked up because overall he had a good year, but over here it slowed down a little bit. I think that's going to be the toughest decision. I think Naylor and Polanco, to me, is a no-brainer. I think Suarez is the part where, okay, we're banking on him fixing things, or we're going to move on and try to get a big sign.
What I absolutely do not want to see is moving deck chairs around to spend roughly the same amount of money. Nor do I want to see anyone and I don't think Jerry and Justin are heading into the season assuming, okay, so we get 60 home runs from Cal, and then let's make up these. Like, I know that they don't think that. But it needs to be reflected with the moves that you're making also.
I just think it's going to be, we're demanding some things, and I think we're right to demand it, and the fans to demand it. But I think it's going to be some tough decisions going to have to be made at third base. That's the spot to me to where it's going to be tough.
I think most fans will understand if they do go younger there. I think that fans will be really upset if they can't get Naylor.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and I think a given is just getting some more arms, right? I mean, looking for some bullpen,
I think we're all assuming like, okay, are they going to try to flip Castillo and do something there? And if that's the case, then, are you bringing in other people? You have to account for injury regression and account for, something else happening there. Wu pitched a career high in innings. Obviously, you want to look at your bullpen, really aggressively add there.
Yeah.
Look, you are not going to be a better team by spending exactly the same.
I don't think they will. They better not.
You're just not.
Well, they're not off top because Naylor's going to need some more chips. So hook them up.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
Wyman and Bob.
It's going to take a bit for this team, I think, to get past this moment.
Every afternoon at 2.
To be that close. You were just steps away, and you came up short. Some of them sat in that dugout and watched the Jays out there celebrating, and they're going to use that as fuel.
You're never going to be happy unless you win the last game, right?
Yeah, but somebody's always going home disappointed, and hopefully it's the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that'll be easy to root for the Dodgers.
Plus, they've got my favorite non-Mariner, Mookie
Betts. That's right, Mookie.
Love Mookie.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Stacy here to tell you that I have had a horrible experience buying and selling a car, so I know a good one when I see it, and that's why I want to tell you about Wayscar Ford in Auburn. These are real people I've worked with, Mark and Chris and Way himself. I know them, really, and you will too, and they want you to have a hassle-free, no-pressure experience when you're looking to sell or buy a new car. And let me tell you what, trusting the people you're working with is massive. Again, I sold my old car years ago to this place that absolutely ripped me off, and I wish I would have known about what Wayscar Ford does, which is this. You sell your car to Wayscar Ford and get paid for it that day. Then, when they resell your old car, they split half the profit with you. It's not a consignment. It just lets them save money on auction fees and stuff that they'd rather share with customers. Plus, it lets you avoid scams. You can upgrade to a new model from their vast inventory like I did. I recommend a Bronco Sport. I'm obsessed with mine. They've just surpassed sharing over $1 million with people who have sold them their cars. Find out how you can do it too at wayscarford.com.
Ooh, ma. What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Dave Wyman here, and after 20 years of living in our home, our window sills started breaking. That's when I called Harley Exteriors. They're huge fans of our teams and regular listeners at the station, but what really sold me was their Olympic Series windows, built right here in Washington, designed for Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. They're beautiful windows that last up to 60 years, and they'll help with noise, too. Harley Exteriors knows you've been spending a ton on playoff tickets, so they have a special deal for Seattle sports listeners. No interest and no payments for an entire year. Also, buy one window and get the second one 40% off, and take another $200 off your entire project. They're the friendliest team and so easy to work with. You call the number and the person on the other line asks, "How can I make you smile today?" Just give them a ring and tell them you heard our ad. Call 833-HARLEY. That's 833-HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
The birth of the American supercar is roaring into LeMay, America's Car Museum, starting October 25th. Curated by racing icon Steve Saleen, this electrifying exhibition showcases the evolution of American speed, style, and engineering, featuring icons like Hennessy, Shelby, Zinger, and more. From raw horsepower to groundbreaking design, this is the ultimate tribute to performance. Don't miss the birth of the American supercar, opening October 25th at LeMay, America's Car Museum. Visit americascarmuseum.org to learn more.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Touchdown! Seahawks! Ken Walker III!
Get everything Seahawks at seattlesports.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Stacy Roth here from Seattle Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of. And then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, prescriptions. But imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate, noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle, yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target problem areas: waistline, face, neck, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. For your free consultation and $250 off, visit prosculpt.com for powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men. It's prosculpt.com.
Bellwether Appraisal Company reminds parents to enroll your kids in a positive youth program. Sports, hobbies, and community activities improve overall health and performance in school. These programs decrease drug use and violence and develop self-discipline and leadership skills. Let's team together this year to help our kids reach their full potential. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Bellwether Appraisal Company. Family owned and proudly serving our community for 23 years. Online at bellwetherappraisal.net.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
What I need to know. Get your questions in 866-979-3776. What I need to know. I I need some advice. I love advice questions. I'm a hat wearer, says our first texter. My wife went on a trip out of the country and bought me 2 hats as a surprise. I love the thought. The problem is that my wife, who does not follow sports and has only watched a few Seahawks games, absolutely no MLB games, got me 2 New York Yankees hats. I have never liked the Yankees, have always rooted against them, and I cannot wear them. But I also don't want to hurt her feelings since she was so proud of finding them and really wanted to surprise me. How do I handle this situation?
You explain it to her like, hey, babe, like, I
love you.
When you support a team, there's an alliance, you know?
Right.
It's like our marriage. I would never, ever support anybody the way that I support and love you. That's the way I feel about
What
the
if
marriage.
you only wore them at out-of-town events?
No, you don't put anything on your body that you don't represent.
I feel bad.
Nah, don't do it.
I think that
There's only 3 hats I wear.
What
That's
if-
not like a random restaurant or something.
what if she gets really sad and has her feelings hurt?
She's got to deal with that. She needs to learn. Don't waste money on things like Yankee hats.
What if you tell her that, but then say, which reminds me, I would love to watch a baseball game with you.
Sure.
Let's have that as a date so that you can learn more about being a Mariners fan.
Oh, yeah. And like, also be like, hey, this means a lot to me. Mariners baseball means a lot to me. I'd
Yeah.
like to share that with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to be honest, though.
Oh, you do have to be honest.
Yeah, you gotta
definitely
be
have to be.
honest.
Because she's going to keep, if she thinks you like it, she will keep buying you
She's
Yankees.
going to buy your Aaron Judge jersey next. Real
She's
quick.
going to be like, oh, this is his favorite team. You're going to have a closet full
I
of
don't.
Yankees
I
gear.
don't fault her though for just defaulting to a Yankees hat as
No,
like a
because it's everywhere.
Yes, that is a hat that is worn by non-sports fans.
Yes.
It's worn by people around the globe.
Yes.
It's yeah.
Like you could get that at Forever 21.
Yes.
It's just a generic baseball cap.
Yep.
What I need to know, rank these
It's
cereals.
like Kleenex.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Everything's a Kleenex.
Yeah, but really it's a tissue because Kleenex is the brand.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
Lucky Charms, Reese's. They said Reese's / Cocoa Puffs. 2 different,
Yeah, Reese's and
distinctly
Cocoa Puffs are not the
different
same.
cereals, so I'm going to separate
We are
them.
not the same.
Aren't there a Reese's Cocoa Puff?
There's Reese's Puffs.
And then
there's
Cocoa
Cocoa
Puffs.
Puffs.
Oh.
They're not
Hey,
the same.
can you please
My bad.
take this
My
seriously?
bad. My bad.
And then Captain Crunch.
You got to pick one?
You have to rank them.
Oh, snaps. Anything with Reese's is at the top.
Yeah, Reese's Puffs
Yeah.
are really good.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Captain Crunch second and Lucky Charms third. There's never enough
Lucky
Mallow.
Charms is second.
Yeah, Captain Crunch last because it shreds up your
It's
mouth.
really good, but here's the thing. Every single bite you have of Captain Crunch tastes the same. You'll have bites of Lucky Charms with 1 to 0 mallows.
Because you have to be strategic with how you eat.
I don't want to think that much. Why? So every time I dip my spoon in the bowl, I have to like battleship my way around to make sure.
As long as I have 1 or 2 in there, I'm good.
No, I want more. I want a not 50-50, but I want a 70-30 to 60-40 marshmallow charm ratio.
I will say the only redeeming thing about Cocoa Puffs is it turns your milk into chocolate milk. And then, like, if I'm eating the cereal for what the milk becomes, the cereal itself's not that good. That's my hot take.
Can we all just say that obviously missing from this list, Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
The greatest,
Which
the champion.
obviously
Greatest
be
of all
number
time.
1. It's not even close.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? I think I prefer a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch to French toast.
Yeah. I'll eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch dry.
I'll do it right now. You know that viral video when someone found a shrimp tail in the Cinnamon Toast?
yeah.
I would have
Yeah.
eaten around it.
Get that out of here.
So good. 866-979-3776. Is Cal Raleigh in the clear for AL MVP, or is Judge still the favorite?
Judge is still the favorite.
I think he might get it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be
When do we find out?
Not
after,
till
November.
usually around
mid-November.
yeah.
It's been, I think, November 21st is when it typically for the last couple years has been.
It's like week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be Judge, and I think what's going to happen is people doing this thing where they go, I can't blame anyone for voting for Raleigh. Beautiful history. In fact, I think I would. I did vote for Judge, but Raleigh deserves it. Like, that's every interview I hear with someone is them going, you know, I did vote for Judge, but Cal Raleigh. And it's like, so do you just want a pat on the back for saying that Cal Raleigh has had an amazing year, but then you're still going to vote for Judge?
It's just hard for them to just ignore what he did for switch hitters and catchers.
Yeah. Let's see. 866-979-3776. Do you have any odd superstitions? They said, for me, I don't like changing a calendar to the new month a day early.
Really?
So on day 30 or 31, they refuse to flip the calendar over.
Any weird? No, I don't think I do. I don't think I do
either. I definitely do that thing of when you're watching a really important game, your team's up.
Yeah.
You'll be like standing in the same spot. I count that as a weird superstition, but that's only in those games.
I do simply. I won't split a pole. I only walk around.
Yeah. I've had multiple people say Apple Jacks.
Apple Jacks are underrated for sure.
I don't think I've ever had a box of Apple Jacks in my life. Only
Pretty good.
But you know what I'm saying? When they have the cereal, the mini cereals in Apple, that's the only time I've ever had Apple Jacks. I don't even think they
they're
sell
at every
full-size
continental
boxes.
breakfast. You're right.
Yeah, I don't think they sell full-size boxes. It's only at Continental Breakfast.
I've only had it
and
at like my
elementary
cousin's
schools.
house.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You cannot find anywhere a full-size box of Apple Jacks because it doesn't exist.
But they've been
Only at
around
my cousin's
forever.
house.
They've been around forever. We've all gotten them from at other people's homes, at continental breakfasts and whatever, but point out the box of Apple Jacks in your house. Exactly.
Oh, it's green.
There isn't one. 866.
They used to advertise all the time on Nickelodeon.
I don't remember those. I do remember lots of Reese's commercials.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, obviously. Because it's the best candy, too. Just dominant. Just crushing it. Which scenario pans out better? Bump teaching Stacy how to golf or Stacy teaching Bump how to swim fast?
Stacy teaching me how to swim fast because you'll get very frustrated with golf.
I know how to golf. Do I always hit the ball? No, but I understand the basic motions that I have to have.
I stand next to my statement.
Yeah, I think
golf is so skilled.
Yeah.
Wow. I bet I could. You know what? I don't know how to raise the bar.
Say, you think you could at least double bogey a par 5?
I think I could double bogey a par 5.
Okay.
Could you teach Bump how to do a kick turn?
Yeah, they're easy. They're really
turn.
easy.
I can do that.
Yeah, I
do
believe
that.
in you.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you believe in me.
I do.
Thank you. Matt, book that. Keep it forever. You think I could double bogey a par 5, right? And even
On a short par 5, yes.
and single bogey.
It's just a bogey.
Wyman and Bob coming up next.
They restored hope to the loyal longtime fans
The Mariners will play in October.
and showed a new generation what October baseball looks like.
Get out the rye bread and mustard, Grandma. It is grand salami time. Eugenio Suarez.
The next season will hang a new banner.
The Seattle Mariners are champions in the American League West.
Congrats on a great run, boys, from your proud partners at Seattle Sports.
The rainy season's here, Seattle, and your roof can't wait. Schedule your free estimate at 3treeroofing.com and get $500 off today. Costly repairs and Band-Aid fixes won't hold up and just drain your pockets. Our technicians replace roofs year-round, backed by the strongest warranties. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
Windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
Hey, it's Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision. If you're at the stage where you need readers, whether you've had LASIK or not, it may be time to consider K2 Vision RLE. I tell my King LASIK patients, laser vision correction won't solve the eventual need for reading glasses due to an aging, dysfunctional lens.
But K2 Vision RLE will. It's not a question of if your lens becomes dysfunctional, it's when. At that point, you'll need reading glasses and could benefit from refractive lens exchange, a permanent solution to distance, intermediate, and near vision problems. In other words, no glasses, no contacts, and no readers.
And no cataracts.
Exactly. After K2 Vision RLE, you will never develop a cataract.
K2 Vision RLE is quick and painless.
And because we've performed over 100,000 procedures and followed the outcomes, we have the experience to know if RLE is right for you.
Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at k2visionrle.com and let's get your vision feeling young again, permanently.
Go to k2visionrle.com.
The LJ way is.
You look at stuff like this and it's like, I don't want to come into an industry and work on a place that is going to compromise how I feel about myself. I get to go to work every day with good people and I get to enjoy what I do because I'm out there just trying to do right by people I care about, which is our community. We're going to see them at the grocery store. I'm going to see them at the sports tournaments. 2 friends of our daughters came in last night just on the lot, didn't know I was there. And it was cool because you got to take them through and they're going to buy a car for their first driver and a car for their kid going to school soon. These are the people that you're going to work with. And so you better make sure that your laundry's clean. I don't think Lee Johnson specifically, right, Speedway Chevrolet, where I'm at, I don't think they've ever had a problem with the community of being able to stand up and look them in the eye and know that they did their job well.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
At Bible Law Group, we understand when you've got legal problems so biblical, not even an Etsy witch can turn your court case around. With James Bible and his team by your side, don't panic when your ark is lost in divorce or when a whale swallows your defense attorney. At Bible Law Group, we've secured over $40 million in settlements for our clients, and we're ready to fight for you. When your legal problems hit biblical proportions, contact Bible Law Group and let our talented team of lawyers get to work, no matter the problem. Find us at Bible